free reign, talk to me. We're gonna hit a beat and talk about my Eve. Everybody don't know what I say.
God.
I'm gonna do a beat.
Make it stop.
It's time to stop.
Why did you?
Rock, paper, scissors, right? We don't want Eve to be as simple as shut the fuck up, Seto!
Floods of like memes, and these small gamers are like, we're the elite of the elite. Do not fuck with us. We will kill you. We are the best players ever. It's like, dude, I did your shit. I did it better than you did.
You know what this conversation is like? When I say not enough supers die in Delve, and people tell me, oh, look, there's a super died in Delve. So it's like, when
What
I'm
are
talking
you
about
even
the balance
talking
issue,
about? We were talking about fucking balance, not supers
Yeah.
dying in Delph.
Look,
Why
look,
does
look, look,
everything with you have to be about supers fucking dying in
Shut
Delph?
up! Shut up!
Christ!
It's an analogy, moron. It's an analogy. Okay?
You guys stop arguing. You act like a fucking married couple. Jesus Christ.
No, don't stop arguing.
It's an
Well, it
analogy.
is Trash Talk Tuesday.
I was like,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, capsuleers and capsulors, shit, I lost it. Welcome to Trash Talk Tuesday. My name's Redline. I'm joined with the normal cast of crazies, as well as our best friends, Billy, Rain, Loki, and Dom. Everybody go ahead and say hello.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello. Yeah, it looks like all the things
Bonjour.
are working. And, well, is that hello as well as goodbye in French?
It's not goodbye.
Wait, is what?
au revoir is
Wait.
goodbye.
Oh,
Bonjour is
you
hello.
see-
Au revoir is goodbye.
You see, there's my problem is that I don't know French. So
It's not Hawaiian, dude.
Gotcha. Okay, or
Oh.
anything else. All right, cool. All right, so we're showing the fact that I don't know French live on air, so that's great. Anyways, we've got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight. We've actually got some new developments in the war for justice and truth in the southern part of the video game EVE Online, because things are actually happening again. Today there was a bunch of dreadnoughts that were destroyed, and a bunch of people screeching how they won, and they didn't actually win, and it was all a blast. But we're finally entering into the last phases of WWB2, which means soon we'll all be able to live in a world without goons, right, guys?
Excited.
I don't think that's how that works, but sure.
The high sec.
Well, the industry changes also kicked in, and during this war of goons, somebody just lost their soup carry on patch day. I really hope they aren't going to try and apply for SRP.
Are you talking about the NC one that was AFK?
That poor guy. What is he doing? Oh, on patch day too.
Rich, I don't think it really matters what day it is. If you go AFK while you shouldn't keep star because you're so bored from killing so many keep stars, sooner or later, stuff's gonna happen. But to be honest, NC was kind of due. They got really lucky with some other keep star shenanigans, let's say, and
NPC delve, we had to kill like at least 2 AFK supers.
Somebody bragged about how they reinforced the forces all by themselves, but all their friends told them, "Don't do it; it's too risky." But yeah, I understand. And some people slip up.
This happened earlier in the what was that one where the goons brought in like super carriers and then they couldn't tether and then they had to like warp to the keepstar. Whatever fight that was.
49.
That was 49 Tech U, the first super cap fight of the war.
Right. So didn't we also? Well, when I say we, I was there, but didn't NC also end up murdering somebody who was either
it was
not responsive or
a
AFK?
horde
One of
super was AFK and not responsive.
That was a horde
not
super.
jumping.
Okay.
And
the horde, I thought it was NC.
No, it was.
I thought it was NC.
Pretty sure it was horde.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyways,
It's
he
been a
was
while.
he fell asleep, right? Because I'm pretty sure it was a Euro and it was a very late fight for them.
Oh, poor guy.
He actually fell asleep, like keyboard marks on his head.
Yeah, I remember he was.
Yeah, NC guy fell asleep. Horde guy jumped to
Oh yes.
I know.
Right. But I mean, at least like more than likely, I assume that the super carriers probably replaced them anyway. It was just that they didn't want.
Sleep happens sometimes, guys. Let's not make fun of them.
Yeah.
That was what we said. I don't know if he actually got reimbursement.
Yeah,
I'm sure he
most of the dudes in NC.
People may have fallen asleep.
I've fallen asleep before, not during a super cap
Like
thing. But...
even if he didn't get reimbursement, like if it's an NC guy, we're all rich as shit, so we can replace supers, no worries. But
remind me to
All that
keep a
Bob
pick
money.
on grid whenever
yeah,
you're
exactly. Dirty
flying it
casino cash.
or whatever.
No, the Bob money. T20. Was that NC dot? Bob?
I don't know. You were yelling last week about how people didn't know their history, and I was just really hoping you wouldn't target me with that because I have no fucking idea what's
Yeah,
happening
whatever,
to me.
Redline. You're an NC dot, dude. NC dot has a history of being in Bob, and therefore, when they were in Bob, they had T20s. You should have T2 blueprints.
Right,
BPOs.
I don't know what that
they're
means.
corpse.
Shut up, Redline.
There are corps in NC dot that are still going that were in Bob. Yes.
Nice.
Redline's only been playing for like 2 years.
That is true. That is a true statement. Very good observation. Yeah.
Wait, it must be
All
almost
right.
3 now because you said that like a year ago.
Yeah, it was 3 years in February. So, yay anniversaries, whatever. Anyways, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this final phase of shoving our we can't say that on stream. Fighting for the 1DQ constellation. So as of today, all of the keep stars outside of OEIMK, the constellation which contains 1DQ, are dead. Correct?
Put.
All the Imperium keep stars, yes.
Right, all the Imperium keep stars. So now we are going to be pushing towards 1DQ, but not into 1DQ, correct?
Probably not discussing that, right?
I mean,
wasn't that in some of the public updates?
It was in town. It was in town halls everywhere.
Yeah.
Like there was like 4 different town halls that were put on the internet, and everybody's heard them already. So like that's what I'm getting at is the town hall stuff, because
I'm pretty sure that sounds accurate there.
Because people seem to think that like there's not going to be any kind of super capital escalation anywhere, and we're going to try to take the whole constellation with subcaps, and I'm just confused. That sounds like horseshit to me.
Aren't you normally confused though?
I mean, I'm not always confused.
Oh.
But no, like that's what I'm trying to get at. So the
Want
next
someone
part,
beside you to talk about it? I'll talk
Yes,
about it because I wasn't
God,
really paying
please.
attention.
Oh,
All right, so the strategy for Pappy, this is how I see it, right? So take whatever the shit I say with a grain of salt because I didn't really hear or read or listen or watch.
You're just making
Showed
it
up
up.
late.
Well, so I'm basing all of the siege on 1DQ as though it were the siege at the beginning and the fountain, right? I streamed that day in and day out, right? So what the thought is the Imperium's fighting a defensive war, whereas Pappy's fighting an offensive war, and Pappy knows eventually it has to get into 1DQ. So what Pappy will either do is continuously bait timers, right? So they'll go in and shoot an Anti-Black, so they'll go in and shoot a Citadel, or they'll go in and like reinforce an iHub. They'll do this continuously, day in and day out, to see what the response time is. And eventually, at some point, ideally, unless like Imperium is perfect, they will sort of crack. So slowly, bit by bit, Pappy will be able to push in through the constellation around 1DQ, which is all fun and games, but really no one cares unless it's 1DQ, right? Like if we sat here and like 2 weeks from now we say, oh, all that's left is 1DQ, blah, 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 we'd be having the same conversation. So instead, what I can talk about then is how do you actually siege 1DQ? And I believe 1DQ is under jammer, so there's none of this like dumb shit of jumping in all your supers and titans, which Redline, you're talking about like super cat fights and shit. Like that's probably not on the table yet. The big thing is really reinforce. I mean, yeah, you could probably take the gate. Like I guess if you wanted to do that, that would be.
I mean, it's not smart, but you could.
I mean, if it were me, I would totally try that, but it's definitely not me, so I can't do that because I really don't care about supers and titans, and I like watching them fight and die. But really, what Pappy has to do is hit the iHub. So for those who don't know, the 1DQ iHub has a faction fort on it, which means having the on-grid fort makes it super easy for defenders because they have a place to tether. I don't think it's close enough to actually use guns or whatever on the iHub, so that's pretty off the limits. But it's at least on grid to be able to warp people in, reinforce whatever it may be.
This is in contrast to nowadays. This is a grandfathered in thing. You can't put an iHub next to a faction fort nowadays, or you can't anchor a faction fort next to an iHub.
Yeah.
But this isn't an exploit because this is from an outpost which is pre Citadels, even not like
yeah. So yeah, Imperium has like a huge advantage, but they're not, like you said, they're not exploiting. It's just something for their advantage. Jeremy, please stop breathing.
Sorry.
And then
into your mic, into your
Into
mic,
your
not
mic.
in
You can
general.
continue to breathe.
Julie
Don't
meant
breathe
that's
in
like
your
a
mic,
push to
please.
talk
Yeah.
thing.
We were all
Yeah.
thinking it, right? We were all thinking it.
So sorry.
That was pretty good. I
Just
forgot I
stop
have
breathing.
push talk off.
Yeah. So the strategy for Pappy then has to be, right? So the iHub's only up a certain amount of time a day for the vulnerability, so they have to try and hit that when it's vulnerable, or they can try and hit the faction for it. So they have to choose either. All right, Jeremy, you're still hot micing, dude.
Gosh dang it.
Turn on. Yeah, there you go. So, but Pappy
No,
should just,
stop
in
breathing.
theory,
Got to
Pappy.
get stuck down.
Yeah, so Pappy should just continuously try to hit this to try and bait timers, which is what we saw in D4KU, which was the entry system into Fountain from, oh god, was it Iridia? No, it's not Iridia. Actually, it might be
It's
Iridia.
Iridia. Yeah.
Hoffit, yeah, the system in Iridia. So that's just continuously what they have to do, because in theory, Pappy doesn't have to do a large like CTA offense. They can just throw some bombers in, or a couple of like Entosis Tristans, or some junk sort of ships to try and bait a response. But if Imperium wants to properly defend, they have to be able to handle whatever is Entosising or bashing.
And
so you do that.
And they not only have to do that, but they have to do it anytime we show up.
Correct.
Like
anytime Pappy shows up.
100% of the time.
Anytime you show up within the vulnerability window, so we kind of know when
Yeah.
that's going to be.
Yeah.
No, that's
Right.
not correct at all.
Well, for the iHub, yes, but for the faction fort, no.
Yes.
No, yeah.
And
Other
for the
way around, right?
jammers and stuff like that, we can
Yeah,
shoot those anytime we want to. Because
Yeah,
it's important
so-
to note that every single system in that constellation is under a Sino jammer, just like 1DQ is. Which to me just reeks of cowardice. Like, why would you need a Sino jammer? Do you guys not want to fight? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but in
Redline. The last time something happened
ironic,
without,
by the way.
I was about to say, the last time something happened without a Sino jammer, M2 happened. Now it's
that was a great fight. I want to see that again.
Actually, there was a Sino jammer involved in M2
let's-
too.
You sure you want to see it
Fair,
exactly the way it
though.
was the last time?
Well,
Or would you
preferably,
want some
I
different
want the
outcome?
armor timer ×2, not the armor in the hole, or the hole ×2.
Fair, that's fair.
If we see 250 Titans die in another 2 separate fights over a Citadel or an iHub, like that'd be so great.
I mean,
now
as long as there's
see-
somebody else,
On
right?
the part of goons, though, is that they want us to come to 1DQ. So, I mean, why is that jammer necessary?
Well, because now it's no frills.
Because we want you to come to
do what is
1DQ,
right.
but we don't want to make it easy for you. I mean, come on.
Weren't there like 3 Sino jammers in M2 Tech?
Yes.
3 Sino jammers in any system that has the
Yeah.
upgrade in it. One of them
Right, so they all got taken offline, and then the goons jumped in. Yeah.
Yes.
What happens to a Sino jammer
No.
is
In M2, the jammers were not online yet when the fight started, basically. Or first one was anchoring or being
Oh,
tried
okay.
online.
Were they just first getting anchored? Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
something. Go ahead, Philly.
The jammers had not been anchored earlier, so part of what led up to M2 was we were doing a triple keepstar reinforced because we were kind of testing the waters of what we could get away with. And we had missed the first keepstar timer because we kind of messed up things, and the second we had kind of jiggled something around, and the third we'd also anchored the jammers late. So like it was just kind of like a sloppy kind of start, and that's why they were able to get so many Titans supers in.
When you say you
before
missed the
things
first
started.
timer, you meant you missed the first keep stars timer, not the first timer period, right? Not all the first timers, just the one keep star you missed that first time.
There was 3 keepstar timers that day. The
All at
first
the
one
same
was
time,
in,
though? No.
Yeah, within a span of like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought it
So
was a little bit
we'd
farther
missed like
spread out.
ZXB, I think it was, or S-Tech 6. I can't remember which one was first. And I can't remember the exact whatever, but I remember like the jammer just in M2 just hasn't been anchored early enough. So goons were able to, after it finished anchoring, they were able to go pop it with the scepter and start a reinforce cycle. And like they were already in at that point, but it was just one of those things kind of.
Yeah.
Gotten refed earlier in the day. It was anchoring still.
What?
But that's what allowed that whole fight to happen, was basically that the Sino jammer wasn't online. So anyways, but that's probably, see, in my mind, so one of the big things that people are sticking on about like the town halls and stuff that happened this weekend is everybody's saying that there's not going to be any like keepstar fight, or not keepstar fights, but the not to expect a super cap fight or something like that. And I don't understand why everybody's harping on it, because if you are like if you have any inkling as to like strategic nature of what everybody's trying to do, you wouldn't expect one either. And it doesn't really mean that there's anybody is like unwilling to use a super capital or something like that. It simply means that it's just not something that's going to be in the cards unless it just happens on its own. But everybody said that it could happen. It's just don't come with the expectation that it's going to, because it probably won't.
If the jammer gets taken out in a situation where you guys are ready to go, why would you? Of course, you'll jump in.
Yeah, but
it's definitely a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, would too. Absolutely. Yeah.
But that's not necessarily true, right? Like if we jump in at a place where there's no tether for you, chances are we're not going to get a super cap fight, right?
Not right that second, but if you guys get him in there, there's going to be a fight eventually, right? If you have your super cap,
well, we can gate them in at any time. Like that's not the
that's
issue.
That's a little more hairy than just getting to be able to jump in where you want to. I absolutely, you definitely could gate them in. It'd be a fight, but if you have the opportunity.
But that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't necessarily be a fight, right? Like we have yet to see the Imperium use any supers or titans outside of tether range. Period. Right?
Oh, I agree. So, but we with the jammer up there, we don't have to yet. If you guys get him in, though, we're going to have to eventually. I mean, this is the thing. If you guys get your capitals in there,
but that's the thing.
We're going to have to face you eventually.
But what you have, like, that's what I'm trying to say, though. That's my point, right? Like, it's you haven't. Like, you keep saying eventually. Well, we're 42 keep stars later on that eventually. And
but to think that we would jump our supers or any capital fleet outside of 1DQ at this point, that's not going to happen. Period. It's just not, because if we get trapped outside of 1DQ, is way worse than you guys getting into 1DQ with us there, right? Because if you get us trapped outside 1DQ with our capital fleet, now 1DQ is fucking wide open. That would be dumb.
I don't know, honestly.
I don't know that for a fact either. That's my speculation why we have not even thought about taking our capitals outside of 1DQ. And that's what I would suggest for Bastion. Don't do it. Leave them here. It doesn't make any sense to go defend a structure we're going to lose anyway, right? It's a fact. I have no problem.
If that's
because you guys outnumber us, it'd be stupid for
anything.
out of 1DQ to try to defend a structure outside of it, and then risk the chance of not being able to get back into 1DQ.
I mean, there's always a way to get into 1DQ, right?
But if you're never going to defend anything outside of 1DQ, then what stops this from being a permanent war? And no defender can ever last a
absolutely nothing stops it. That's exactly right. If that happens, there is nothing unless you guys are able to come in and take it, right? You're right. It's perpetual war. That's really what it is.
But we are going to come in and take it.
Of course you are. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to. I mean, eventually, both sides are gonna get to the point where this is push, shit or get off the pot time. It's gonna eventually that will happen. I don't know when it'll be.
To be fair, it's not right, like because that's one of the statements Imperium makes is like, well, they gotta jump their supers into 1DQ now. It's like, no, now we kill all the other systems in the 1DQ constellation and we set up for 1DQ.
I agree. I think that's what you should do too. Yeah. I would do the same.
Okay.
But as I said, eventually, if you want to take 1DQ, you have to come into 1DQ.
We're not afraid to come into 1DQ.
I don't think you are either, but I'm saying it's going to have to happen eventually.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you want it this way, Billy? Do you want to have the big flashy fight, or is this the only way you're going to be able to do it? This slow, methodical, tried and tested grind.
We're not going to be given a situation where Imperium allows us to take a fight that's even. So it's unlikely that there will be a situation where there's the possibility of a big fight happening, right? It's unfortunate, but just kind of the reality of the game mechanics.
I think the only way a big fight happens now is a mistake.
Yeah, and absolutely, right? Either side could make a mistake. Like, we're not afraid to drop supers and go to town, but we're not going to make the mistake of doing so in a highly disadvantageous position. The numbers are just too close to do so.
You would be fools to do so, right? You would be just like we'd be fools to do the same. I agree. That's smart warfare. Slow and methodic is going to win this, right? It is.
Well, gosh damn it, Dom, you're not supposed to agree. You're supposed to be like the normal everyday goon and froth at the mouth and call us cowards and shit.
I won't do that. I don't lie.
I don't do that. That's what I'm saying. Where's Don? We need to get some more of the spin involved, right?
Don actually Don was gonna come on, but she actually had a family emergency.
Once you come into 1DQ, it's gonna be hard. I don't think it'll be easy.
I mean,
I hope it's not.
No smooth brains tonight. Awesome.
My hope is we can make this last long enough to where people do get sick of it and just quit. On your side, not our side.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I don't want our side to quit. Now that may happen, but my personal goal is hopefully you guys quit.
I mean, honestly, I don't want anybody to quit over it. Like, I would rather.
Not quit.
I don't want.
War. Like,
yeah,
fuck it,
I
I'm gonna
gotcha.
move on to something else. Yeah.
But like, can you imagine if like all the big null blocks were just like, you know what? We've been fighting for a year now for other people. Why don't we just go and fight for ourselves instead? And then you've got like dozens of new alliances and coalitions forming, and everybody's just doing crazy things, and the wheel just gets completely broken. Ugh.
I don't know. I kind of hope there's a lot of new alliances come out of this, and new alliances, new agreements, or backroom deals. It'd be kind of nice for the game to have a big change up. It couldn't hurt the game, right? It just couldn't.
Yeah, no, I'm in complete agreement. It's not gonna it wouldn't hurt the game at all to have everything shake up like that. But I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
I actually made the comment when this war first started, and when the rhetoric was really heavy and all the shit talking was going on. And I don't know who said it, or it may have just been paraphrased by somebody else too. I don't know. But at one point, it was kind of that the goal of the war is to destroy the goons. We want them out of the game. Not say out of the game, but out, gone. Goons gone forever. No more goons ever. And I thought to myself, what would happen if every single person who's in part of the Imperium quit playing Eve that day? I mean, every single account just stopped playing.
That's not what people mean by.
Well, I know, but I was just thinking that because that was kind of the rhetoric going around. How unhealthy that would actually be for the game if that many people quit all at once.
I remember. So I joined in 2014. I think the start of 2014, right after BTEC-R, and I remember there was tons of talks of like group shifting. Like, I started getting really into the community right when. So like that's when Pizza disbanded and like all of them quit, and then Noli, all of them quit, and like you had some shifting of people around, but a lot of groups just kind of like left the game. And I remember every time there was talk about it, people were always like really upset. They were like, "Oh my gosh, these people are such game changers," or they, did this very niche thing and this and that. Like I think Black Legion was one of them too. And like all these groups quit, and like every time, like some people sure are like haters and are like, "Yeah, fuck those guys," but most of the time, people are like, "Damn, that sucks." Like, yeah, like Pappy's a massive coalition and Imperium's a massive coalition, and you have all these small groups, but it would be great if like instead of having coalitions, like if the game actually shook up to where coalitions just were like 1 to 2 groups and not 20 or whatever, and that there wasn't a desire or a mechanism to create these massive coalitions, because having all those
well, there is no
groups
game mechanism to do it.
well,
It's
not a mechanism, but it's encouraged, right? Like nothing's preventing.
You're right, based on gameplay.
Yeah, like nothing's like, so think of like I'll take my own coalition, right? Like I'm in Pan Fam. Like nothing's stopping all of Horde, all of PL, and all of NC living in the drone regions and collectively working together in the drone regions. Like it is more advantageous for us to do that than it is for us to fight amongst each other for content. Because there was a time.
I know it wasn't successful, but wasn't that originally one of the kind of reasons for FozzieSav? Wasn't that part of the reason?
Yeah, so for smaller groups,
yeah. I mean, that was a stated reason. It didn't come to fruition, but it was kind of one of the things they wanted to go for. So I mean, obviously, everybody on all levels have thought exactly what you're saying, right?
Yeah, because it used to be, so from what I understood, so this was before my time, so if I misstate this, feel free to correct me, but what it used to be was there was only, like, you had just the iHub or whatever, you had to not entosis, but shoot.
SBUs.
And so, like, prior gameplay was just, hey, pal everyone onto this grid, and whoever has the most people wins, or whatever.
Well, no, you had to put
the grid was significantly smaller.
And there was another stop structure that you had to anchor, and
another structure. Okay, so not the iHub.
Yeah. What was the rule in the SBUs? It was like you had to have the one more than the other person. Is that what the deal?
You had to have majority control of SBUs on the gates.
Yeah, there you go. It was a different. I personally thought the Dominion Sav was the best. It was better than FozzieSav. But looking at them both, I think if you took some of the good elements from Fozzie and some of the good elements from Dominion, you could come up with a much better system. But it is what it is. Yeah.
Dominion was much more involved.
The core problem with FozzieSav right now is probably built around the vuln windows. The fact that you're really only able to attack within kind of that 3-hour period, if somebody really puts the ADM work in, is just, it's very oppressive in terms of trying to harass large groups as a smaller group.
Well, it's impressive for all groups, isn't it? I mean, really, even large groups against large groups. But I mean, it scales obviously.
It's problematic, large group versus for
Yeah.
example, I fought a very long war with fraternity before this, and it's like you're just allowed so few options in terms of how you play time zone based wars because of the way vuln windows work.
Sure,
and it's
well, you basically lock out a good portion of your, if you're a large group, you end up locking out a large portion of your group based on the vuln windows.
Well, and you gotta think too, like if you think about actually going into 1DQ, or I mean, even a lot of the systems in that constellation, you not only have to set on that iHub and hack it for an hour, but you also have to do it in likely crippling tie-dye, and you have to do it when and only when goons allow it, basically, like within that 3-hour window.
Anytime you can be ECM.
The time frame that we set up. You're right. Yeah. So in theory, we're going to set up a time zone that works the best for us. But it doesn't always happen, and that's the theory, which makes it, it definitely gives the defender a huge advantage in that little portion of stuff, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like the node system in certain ways because it spreads out and moves away from a true single point battle like the old high up system.
Yep.
But it's also got a ton of flaws in the way in which it's so Entosis based and not something simpler like damage based, where there's damage and reps and all these other mechanics. Like there was a lot of playing counter play built around the old system in terms of what you could do with reps and damage and so on. So
no, I completely agree. I like the node system, but it has some massive flaws.
Honestly, one of the things I miss more than anything is the old Cynojammers. The old Cynojammers had I truly think the old Cynojammers were one of the most balanced mechanics we had in the game. There was so many ways to play around them, in-cap them, suicide on them, burst them down, rep them. There was just so much play and counterplay around them. It was so beautifally balanced.
I used to
current
love
ones are absolutely fucking garbage.
I used to love building Death Stars or around those. That was a lot of fun. I agree. It was fun gameplay because the POS building was important. Yeah, how you
Well,
protect
and the other beautiful thing about POSes in the old school version was POSes encouraged capital usage, and Citadels discouraged capital usage. Because damage caps create a situation where there's no advantage to bringing additional capital damage, where with the old POS mechanics you were encouraged to bring capital, so you
much
get that
damage you
extra
could possibly bring. Yeah, you're right.
And the thing is that POSes didn't obliterate nuke a fucking dread in fucking 2 minutes. They could on paper kill a dread if you had 5 gunners and it was a perfectly set up Death Star or whatever, but
they were good against fighters. You could kill fighters with them. Yeah,
you could do a ton of stuff with the old POS, and I just don't think they're anywhere close to as the Citadels just aren't where old POS was. Not even close.
No, way less fun to do. I mean, like you say, you only get one gunner. You don't get multiple gunners, right? The defense of it is all based on basically the damage cap. That's really your defense. It's just that. It's not fun.
I mean, the key points about Citadel defenses are the PDS, the bomb launcher, and the insane anti-cap newt, right? Anti-cap capabilities, I should say.
Yeah, right? But that really doesn't come into play as much. Like you said, you don't need to use a bunch of caps on there anyway. So I mean, it's not
right. But
if you cap out anything, never mind. Yeah.
If you could use caps, people would use caps, but people can't use caps because any normally fit fucking Astor House will fucking obliterate dreads, right? It's you have to have hyper fucking specialized dreads to be able to tank a Fortizar.
And honestly, if you get somebody in a Fortizar that knows what they're doing, they're super dangerous.
Yes, absolutely. Just very little room for counterplay.
Bosses were also fun because you could also counter rep them while the people were sieging them. You could sit up in a Basilisk fleet and just counter rep the whole thing.
My favorite things with POSes was putting everything to fucking a little bit of hole just to be a dick.
Yeah. Who's used a hull repair recently?
Yeah, exactly. Matter of fact, I literally just reprocessed a whole bunch of them because I don't fucking ever use them.
Well, one of the big things about POS mechanics that people don't remember is the fact that every time I went into damage to your POS, you had to repair your POS, right? Like
not automatically, you had to
yeah.
do it. Yeah.
So like I do something, you have to do something. You do something, I have to do something, right? Like it creates a play counterplay versus Citadels where it's like, okay, you shot my Tatara. Okay, I'll just ping that I'm going to form. You don't form, it repairs. All your effort is wasted.
Yep.
Right.
Everybody's sad, and
That's
everybody
effort
gets a
that
fight.
a large group of players like to do. I mean, there's a large number of people who like to do logi. Don't know why, but they do. Right. So you took away that's a gameplay that they took away from them because it was super important to rep bosses. I mean, it was a huge role that logi people played. Make them fuck. You need to make them put whole fucking rippers on their shit too. That made it even better.
Yeah.
I never thought the bosses were like the evilest thing in the world. I like some of the Citadel changes, but bosses, I agree, they were much more back and forth.
Well, another plus with the POS is you can't POS spam really. It's only down to the moons. Whereas Citadel, you can throw as many as you want, and it becomes trash.
Yeah, that's
The cost
That's
barrier
the whole
was
mistake they made was
the
not
cost
having.
barrier was different, but the location barrier was prohibitive, right? So
I think the location barrier was much smarter.
but it was prohibitive to just general play. People, you had to think about it. You had to fight over it. I think that generated content. Whereas the Citadels now, you just, like you said, just plop them anywhere. But
Yeah.
they tried to limit it with cost, but they're even not that expensive if you just want a small one, right?
Well, there's a reason we're going through this industrial change in the
right, exactly.
Because cost at that point, cost didn't matter to any medium to large group. Cost is not a thing. It's just not an issue.
Well, what I found hilarious was the other night I took a fleet out. We shot some Lokis. The Lokis were about 700 mil a ship.
You shot yourself?
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
and then we also hoard on an Astra House, and the Astra House was worth less than any of the Lokis. And I'm like, holy fuck! I mean, it was anchoring, so there's no core. But I mean, still though, like, holy shit! Like, how is that even a thing?
And Astra aren't even the cheapest ones. I mean,
Towers,
retards,
right?
you
Yeah.
can pump those out like rabbits.
I really think the one place that CCP really dropped the ball on was the no limitations of number of Citadels per system. I just think that was a mistake. One DQ should have never been a thing, right? That shouldn't ever have. Unfortunately,
I don't think the limitation on number of Citadels would be a good thing because people would just Citadel lock systems, and it would be very bad.
To be fair, the goons did build the city in the sky, like the CCP video was encouraging. So good job.
Yeah, they built their dreams.
You're right. They did.
It fucked up everyone's fucking client at some point, but as they pass through the system. But yeah.
So not to completely derail thing, but back to the industrial and we call it scarcity thing. No one's. I haven't heard anybody mention anyway. So is the Palatine thing never? I mean, it's like not possible now, right? With the scarcity.
Well, I don't know if it was
realistically. It was never possible.
Was it never possible? Okay,
we had this discussion on a show.
It's worth like what 200 regular keep starters, 500 something like insane.
I don't know. So.
It's
and you can only you basically have to ask permission from CCP to even make one because there's like the specific ingredient.
It's one per game, only one per world, yeah.
Also, we discussed I don't know 30 shows ago or something how there's literally no incentive for any groups to work together to get anything like that built, and so it would forever remain a dream.
I should have made it something like a Transformers thing. You build enough keep stars, you can transform it into one fucking Palatine.
Voltron,
like Voltron, dude, or like the Power Rangers.
Oh, like the Power Rangers. What's that thing called?
Megazord.
There you go. That thing.
God, leave it to you to know that it's a Megazord. Gee.
Hey, I'm not even the nerdiest. You're the one that talks about fucking Marvel movies all the time.
Who talks about
Marvel movies? Are
Marvel
mainstream.
movies are very on the face of the earth, so you just watch it.
I'd like to point out that I had this name in EVE Online before any Marvel movies came out. Okay, so I'm not a Marvel fanboy by any means.
Yeah, right. Copycat,
I
whatever.
thought you just like Loki.
Before that gets thrown around a little bit.
So where did it come from then, Loki? Where did it come from? If it didn't come from Marvel.
Norse mythology, dude.
Oh yeah, well that's where Loki came from. So are you sure you're not a Marvel fanboy?
No, I
I'm
like
pretty
Norse
sure
mythology.
the Loki comic is actually older than you are.
No,
Oh,
it definitely. I mean, it definitely is. Yeah, for sure. Like the Avengers came out what in the 70s or something, like from a comic book standpoint. Anyway, my point is that I'm not a comic book guy, unfortunately, and then secondly, yeah, Marvel movies not so much. But I did like the probably arguably the #1 trickster god in any kind of mythology. So I thought that was a good name, so I took it. And then I added Choco Chips because I'm an idiot, and there we go.
All right. Well, people want
That may be
trash
right.
talk.
Yeah.
So what do you say we give them some trash talk? You ready?
You go fuck yourself.
You're a bitch.
This
I've
one's
been trash
coming.
talking the shit out of stuff. What
Are
do you
we
got?
finally
coming-
gonna get to the playground insults?
This one's coming.
Redline, are you ever
right-
going to join an alliance that doesn't lose AFK super carriers to keep stars?
My?
Are you ever going to join an alliance that doesn't need my coalition to carry your dumbass through a war for 12 months before
Your
you can win it?
coalition, last I
Redline,
checked,
are you ever gonna log
Northern
in?
Coalition Dot is not in the coalition name.
Yeah, I had goons carry me like 5 years ago, man. They carried me for like 3 years. Like,
The three
I can always
fleets.
find another, sugar daddy.
Oh,
You're not special.
Yeah,
You're
but you
crazy.
couldn't find a
Billy's-
sugar daddy
Billy's
as
a fake
bony
He's a
as us
smooth talk,
though.
Sexy motherfucker.
I wasn't aware that the 3 Fleets a Week coalition was in the war.
And
but,
no, I don't think I'll ever join a group that doesn't lose supers on fucking AFK.
Look, and here's the thing, right, about NC losing supers on Keepstar bashes. We're allowed to, because we didn't lose 100 Titans in M2. So we get to lose something too. Come on, let us have this.
Besides, you always have backups.
Exactly.
Then
we
RC
got,
loses a couple, and everybody loses their minds.
I mean, yeah, of
Well,
course.
you guys are supposed to be so good. You're not supposed to lose any, right?
You got
I mean, it
sold.
throws everybody into shock. We just can't understand how it happened.
I know, dude.
RC is incapable of making their own supers. That's what's so crazy about it.
Decisions, but
I don't know if that's actually true, my friend.
The last AFK ship I lost was a fucking
Is RC better space?
goddamn diamond rat on a fucking station.
We're not allowed to talk about RC today. There was a mandate that we couldn't talk about anything to do with RC.
If I
Radio
CR,
control,
There
anything?
was no such mandate.
Oh,
Oh, there was.
are in a
Threatened.
better because they have low sec like right next to them.
Yeah, all the
No,
best
just
nullsec
after week 10,
coalitions have.
week 10 of harping on
Oh my
RC.
god!
You
it was
guys
2
are like
weeks. I
7
remember building
fucking
this
jumps
entire-
away.
grid,
You
dude.
made an entire fucking career out of this thing, dude.
What are you even talking about? You're so. I don't even know what the word is. Anyways, that was
Vain.
uncalled for trash talk, Billy, and I am hurt and offended. I'm gonna tell my dad, and he's gonna come beat you up. So there's that.
You can beat your dad up.
Yeah, you're gonna get beat up by my dad.
Good thing,
So, anyways. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we could trash talk CCP again for selling another SP package. We can't do that anymore because I'm pretty sure that CCPers watch the stream, and I want to put on a good show for them so that they don't hate me and want to fight me because it's not
Take
fun.
one of
to
your
watch.
partnership.
CCP obviously values feedback about how hot garbage these new packs are, even more hot garbage than the last 2 sets of. Even hotter and more garbage.
I don't.
They're like if RC was a skill pack.
Now with 50% more garbage, dude.
Dude, I didn't even think that they could get worse. I haven't even I'm so disinterested in purchasing these packs that I haven't even looked at them. I hear that they're good for the money, but also
If
I
they
don't.
add skins to them, they're fucking worth every penny.
I also
Skins
just
are
don't
what
know
keep the
why
game alive.
we need more packs of things. Like,
That's why.
stop it. Stop releasing
Redline,
packs.
not everyone's space rich like you, dude.
A pack implies that there's some value in buying it as opposed to buying the individual components, which there really isn't for these.
How do you buy 250?
We need the $4.99 get rich
Where's
quick
that?
packs
Where's
now.
that
buy
button? Where's
you
that
buy
button?
the skill point resurgence pack that they sell for every year,
Yeah,
every
but that's
5
just-
days as a special.
No, that's one and done.
Wait, can you
So
buy
if you
these
have
packs
any,
more than
You
once?
can buy the Plex to buy
push
skill
for
injectors.
every show to have.
And then if you have a certain number, then you only get 100,000 instead of whatever, right? So buying that Plex is a waste. So the 250,000 skill point pack isn't actually that bad of a deal. You even get 500. You get 500 Plex with it as well. Now I would agree that the other ones where they removed the skill points are not so exciting anymore. The last set was kind of nice. The silver, bronze, platinum, whatever, gold. I honestly can say I bought every single one of them for all 5 accounts.
Yeah, the last packs were, I don't know. The last packs are decent in that respect, I guess. I never really thought about the skill point, if like the injector aspect, but okay, so that makes sense.
So you didn't think about the pack before you started talking about the pack, is what you're saying.
And I got Omega coming out of my ass.
Redline, stop bullying.
You have Omega coming. What?
You just
I
saw
have
a
Omega
pack.
coming out of my ass.
Oh my God! I said I got Omega coming out my
Well,
ass.
here's the thing.
Koopas and death?
Well, I mean, I really don't ever care about like skill points or well, no, I don't care about Omega anymore because I bought the 1 year of Omega when it was on sale, so I don't really need the Omega in the packs either.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, you know what? It is cumulative, right? It just adds on to what you have.
Jeremy, if you get
I don't-
CSM, are you gonna sub your alts with the CSM money?
Of course.
Hell yeah. You should
Didn't
sub
you,
your alliance,
didn't you know?
actually.
Didn't you know that all CSM members get unlimited free accounts?
That's, dude, if that's true, that's amazing.
A fact. That's a fact.
Are you running
not
for
true.
CSM, Jeremy?
No, I'm not gonna.
Oh, how many
Dude,
accounts actually is
dude,
it?
you
Isn't
could
it like
run and
5?
I'm pretty probably not win, but
No, there's 3.
it would
There's
be
3
funny
packs now,
as
I
fuck
think.
though.
I think there's 3.
It would be
packs now.
funny, but I think that would be taking the meme a bit too far.
Be laughing at you, not with
I
you.
would. I would
Taking
be.
the meme
I would
too
be
far.
flying too close to the sun.
Taking the meme too far is if you actually got elected. Like that would be taking the meme
That
too
would
far.
be.
Is there a fight going on somewhere right now?
There was a fight in 3 tacting.
It
It
was,
just ended.
Dude, we're
Just
having a
ended?
dank
Okay,
fight
fun.
right now.
You're having a
There was
dank
a-
fight right now? Who are you feeding to today?
I don't think it was a feeding one. Let me look at some kill meal stuff, but we killed some mutants.
Anyways, no, but I
BR
want to.
looks like it's sitting at
Are
about
you-
15 even.
Loki, are you guys expanding your grip on nullsec?
Huh.
Is that what you guys are doing right now?
No, this is a low sec fight where somebody decided to bring mutants because they're a low sec group.
2 regions of
And
system.
when I say somebody, I think I mean FRT, but let me confirm that before I run my fucking mouth. Yeah, Frat brought mutants.
No, I've never really going back to the packs. I've never really cared about skins or.
That's ridiculous. You should care about skins.
Oh my
I
god,
don't.
dude.
The
My
only
favorite
listen.
pack by
Him outta
far has
here.
got to be the one with that just gave you.
Again?
It was like $40, and it gave you super carrier skins and clothes and nothing
He doesn't
else.
like skins, dude.
I
I
love
don't.
skins.
I don't know. I've never really cared. I mean, there's skins I like in the game. Like I like a lot of the Rorqual skins, and I like some of the industrial skins. But I've never really cared about like PvP ships. I've never. The Jackdaw has some good skins, but I've never really been like an aficionado for skins.
Well,
Oh, this is a rare
that's what
2016
you
vintage.
here at sea.
So much I think about skinning people and wearing their skins.
That'd be kind of cool if you got killed wearing a skin, the other person could like pick it up and you'd lose it and you have to kill someone else for their
Just
skin.
sit there for 5 minutes scraping it off their hull. Oh, it'd be fantastic.
Salvaging
I'd
skins.
be a fucking
No one
scalp.
would ever have a skin anymore.
Well, no, because you get transferred around, right?
Should be pieces of it. You end up with like just only partial parts of the skin. Oh my
Dude,
god.
like the fucking fish with the shiny scale. You guys
No,
ever read that?
not really. No, because the fish doesn't get like descended on by a swarm of piranhas and have his flesh ripped off from his bones
But
while
it's,
he's
that's
still
kind
alive.
of the implication, though, because everybody wants one of his scales, and then he doesn't have any anymore.
What an interesting topic of conversation we stumbled upon, boys. Thank you.
There's definitely something going on somewhere.
Kind of feel like corpses should be used to make drugs, like in the game.
Prostitutes.
Corpses into prostitutes.
You
No,
could.
that's
Oh,
not
you
gonna
mean
work.
a large
What kind of
word?
prostitutes are you into? What the?
You know, you never know.
Damn, dude.
Your own, right?
Wow.
OnlyFans has got everything, I guess.
Or
If you
only corpses.
Can someone explain to me why I'm about to pay more than 50 million ISK for an interceptor?
Scarcity.
You are not smart. I don't know.
I
I'll sell you
mean,
one for 30.
The term is
What do you want it?
inflation. Inflation.
It's not. Is it inflation? I guess it technically is.
the inflation of the cost of living, essentially.
It's still speculative inflation, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's market speculation.
So not really speculative necessarily, right? Because we did know that capitals were going to get rebalanced in a certain way, and that was going to get very time consuming and also expensive. So people put a fuckload of mostly dreads, I think, into build, and so that did affect the prices of a lot of different materials, right? That would be specific to those. But yeah, the rest is all very speculative for
But
sure.
a raise in cost of living is not inflation.
I mean, besides speculation, I don't know if they have yet.
When everything costs more.
Someone had a really good idea in my corp the other day that instead of nerfing the rock size, they should have just nerfed the amount of minerals a rock gives you. Like
people
make it
don't-
like a certain percent instead of having just shrunk the rock.
So
You
people either
understand what
think
that
two
change was
things
for,
about
right?
inflation.
Yeah, it was to nerf Rorqual mining, which is I don't.
Okay, so let me just give you a definition. You can tell me if I'm wrong or right. Okay, inflation is the decline of purchasing power of a given currency over time.
No, that is right. Okay, but there are two parts to that. There's cost of living increase, and there's increase in the money supply. Okay, they both work together to create the phenomenon of inflation, but neither one or the other themselves is inflation.
Okay, so there's a massive increase in the money supply. Would you not agree over the
No.
last 4 years?
No.
You don't think that there was?
Oh, over the past 4 years, of course. Yeah,
Right,
Plex has gone down immensely.
I mean, DBS is an increase to the money supply as ratting in certain risk modifier systems is just linearly more money than having ratted before the changes, even if the ESS is stolen. So there's an increase in money supply as well.
I would argue, and I'm not, this is completely out of my wheelhouse, but I would argue that inflation is a better term to use than what a lot of people have been saying on streams, which was a recession, which is entirely inaccurate.
I mean, it's a CCP inflicted depression at this point.
All I'm hearing
Me
is
want to go back to
Titan
Rorqual
savings
mining.
account.
I want my Rorqual mining back.
No, I think you're entirely right, Loki. This isn't what would be considered a recession because recessions are
Stagnation of
characterized with
economic.
stagnation and unemployment.
Right. Well, unfortunately, we don't have jobs. What'd be hilarious is like if this game had like food that you actually like had to like feed your player in order to like keep living, because we like half of this game would have just starved to death probably.
What are we even talking about right now?
We're going to be seeing. We see cost push inflation.
Very good question.
Because it's a decrease in supply and services. Right. We're not. It's not. It's not necessarily an increase.
Well, what I'm
We're
saying
seeing
is
cost-
the
Segment should be called
purchasing.
Drunk Thoughts with Loki and Jeremy.
Well, this is not really drunk thought. So the purchasing power of ISK is lower than it was, right? Because it takes more ISK to buy literally just about anything. And so that is
because a decrease in supply and services, not because of an increase in demand. That's why we're seeing the inflation. That's what it's going.
correct. So it's not drunk thoughts. Dude. We're talking about like an economic principle, like how fucking
supply one's caused by an increase in demand.
Dude, all of the economists ever have been just fucking drunk off their ass. Dude, there was this guy
economists are the
because
best.
they wanted to
The guy who invented the dog coin had to be drunk off his ass. Come on.
It's largely weather forecasting though. Like yeah, you are right to like on that. I don't know. Like there's obviously like, economics is like a whole like principled measured thing, but then within that there's a whole lot of fucking speculation. And like half of them are wrong like 100%, like all the time. Like on any given day, like if you actually look at an economist, you can get like go to 2 different sources. They'll be completely fucking like different and it's just ridiculous. But anyway, I digress.
All right, so what I was talking about earlier, there was such thing as the Laffer curve. So Laffer was a guy that was hired by the Reagan administration or something.
You know what, Loki? Bananas are yellow, and I hate bananas.
So
yes, we have no bonanza.
Unfortunately, I have an entire republic of them, so I'm gonna
Bananas suck, dude.
I guess I'm not
Those are
selling you
fucking
my
great.
bananas.
Fuck
Your
you! I
pizza
like bananas.
Bananas too. You found bananas.
Those are awesome.
Crampy and shit. Fuck that.
So yeah, like the banana
Are we
republic
still
thing,
talking about the war? Like I got distracted. when I wasn't able to continue, and then you guys kind of went off, and I thought we were bringing it back, but now I'm hearing like packs and SP and bananas.
You're the one who doesn't want to talk about the war all the time.
Please
I
continue.
don't
Okay, but I was giving
French.
my in-depth analysis of how Pappy will take 1DQ.
45
And
minutes
your
ago.
analysis was really good.
That was like an
actually.
hour.
We've
Nice.
been analyzing this for the
Except the
past
Jiro
5
fucking
months.
We haven't been analyzing this for the
not like
past 5
this.
months. We
No, not
haven't
like this.
been literally at the doorstep trying to figure out like what we're actually going to be able to do. And of course, we're not going to talk about everything that we're going to do. But really, the entire point of even bringing it up was because I wanted to talk about how everybody's talking about how Pappy is scared to use supers and all this and that, and all the goon propaganda
spin.
posters have been out in full force, and they're a bunch of fucking morons.
Why
And I
are you guys
wanted to
scared to
mention
use them?
that. But then what
Why
ended up
you're scared-
happening was that none of the goon shit posting morons wanted to come on the shit posting talk show because all they can do is type and they can't talk. And Dom is the most agreeable fucking person in the entire fucking universe.
Yeah, it has to be Dom that shows up, because he's not the one that'll actually fucking just spew propaganda. You know,
yeah,
Dom
but
has some reason.
we love Dom though. Dom is the best guy, but at the end of the day, like, I'm sorry, Dom, you're not going to be the one that talks trash about this.
Here we go. Explain to me why you won't use your supers then. I don't get it.
We
Why are you
will.
being? You're not.
That's not what the town hall said, Dom. They didn't
What?
say
You-
we are
I'm in
not
my
using
So-
supers.
Undock. Come get me.
You know, he's
You're
literally
just too
doing what you
scared to
just
do it,
asked
aren't
him
you?
to
You
do,
won't come
by the
get
way.
it.
Like,
You
I
won't do it.
know,
Yeah,
and I'm jumping on it because this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity. I'm so excited. I'm jittery. All right, Dom.
So
Right
I
now,
know you're playing
undock
a character right now. I'm
Come on.
not.
Come on.
No. I'm pulling out all the stops. Okay, that's not what the town hall said. Town hall said we
You right
shouldn't
now. You're too
expect.
fucking scared to come get me, my super.
Well, you're docked right now, so I can't.
All right,
Continue.
I'll get my super right now.
Okay.
In 1DQ.
Untether
underneath
your
Santa
super
Gem.
then.
He will do it. But like you're literally just going to give him the ammunition that he needs to prove you wrong. Like just stop. Anyways, Dom.
Launched untethered.
All right, I'm going to come tackle you. I'm
right.
on my way.
I'm in the
Well, then
butt
just
stuff.
shoot him with the keep side.
Nuri, if I can have an analysis, an Ondadari analysis.
Shut up.
Of this
Who
of what
cares?
this means.
Shut the hell up.
What
Oh.
what I think he
Why you
means.
guys so mean to Jeremy?
What I think Gobbins means is the fact that
Jeremy.
probably one side will log in a superior number of supers than the server can handle. Like the person who gets to like 3001 in local first will probably win the fight, and goons will not log in theirs because they are afraid of getting M2'd.
In mine, undocked, untethered. Proving you wrong.
How far up the Keepstar?
Oh, like 1 meter.
Newsflash, by the way, there was apparently a fight in 3D, and the goons are so poor now that they are arguing in local about who gets the salvage.
Redline.
Dude, salvage is expensive now. Redline.
Salvage is good.
That's disingenuous because we've
Speaking of
argued
that
about
fight-
salvage for as long as I've been a fucking goon.
Redline, all fights are in 3D because the game's in 3D, dude.
Now I'm gonna just
What's
say, or
the
say
vengeance
that,
logic?
what kind of glasses do you need to use to watch this fight?
Speaking
I
of
mean,
that fight-
it's not a
Blue
fight
light.
anymore.
I want a fight that's in 4D, like those fucking Universal Studios.
Gotta be a
coasters
boomer for 40.
that They
Do you
they
really?
like
I-
pump like mist into the audience to make you smell whatever the fuck Shrek just farted.
I'm giving
Five
so many
colorblind
good puns, and you guys are ignoring them.
Until recently, the reason
4D or a boomer thing.
went to work for me.
40.
So I,
Okay, now I get it. I
Thank
had
you,
to say it.
Rundle.
I hated 4D
Say it.
movies.
People that are
Terrified.
40 years old are Gen X now, not Boomer. You fucking
Shut up,
idiot.
boomer.
All I know is that
being.
these goons are thirsty for some kill mails or something. I don't fucking know what's going on here. They're trying to
Like
chase
what you're
me
saying
down
about
and
the
shit.
fucking,
Dude,
looting thing,
what's with the
you know
vengeance
damn
logic?
well the people have argued about looting for as long as goons have been goons.
I mean, that's fine. It's just it's funny to see somebody's saying, "Don't be greedy, you MTU pricks," and it's like being involved in crab drama all over again. Love
I
it.
mean, that's like everything
And
happened to
it was one of PGL's ideas.
Yeah, it's also just like the ickies or whatever the fuck. Like it's just weird though. I don't know.
It's the what?
It's the vengeance logi, you know.
I really don't know why he. I mean, I guess he was testing them, right? So it's it's a good
Oh
fight.
yeah, I remember that.
I
It's
think
not too expensive, but still.
I think a hack fight is the wrong place to bring the retry.
It was
So eventually, dude against Serps.
it was Shield Zealots with Logi Ickies was what it was.
Oh my god, dude! What was it? I think PGL had us do a Goku fleet, and it was after the boost changes. So we had a bunch of different squads of 25, and you'd have a mini FC for every single different squad with like a couple boosters and DPS, and we just fed so hard to Horde. We didn't kill anything.
Wasn't there also Armor Eagles or something? Wasn't that a thing?
Swag Surfers. They were Armor Eagles with Eeyore all in the mids. I still have the fit saved.
Yeah.
Why would you use armor for an eagle?
Because you fill all the slots with Eeyore and they can't hit
Why not,
you.
dude?
Are you suggesting we should have like a Noctis fight? Where,
I mean, that's kind of the same reason that
Noctis
Armor Max exists, right? In Lowsec, you fill the mids with Eeyore, and then
Yeah, but
they can't
Armor
touch
Max
you.
like still tank and do damage and have speed. You know?
The Swag Surfer has
Nothing. It's useless.
11k. I mean, it was a cool idea, right? It
11k
has
EHP is nothing.
in the armor. It has 11k armor EHP and 60, 90, 73, 62 resists. 64, 90, 73.
I still remember when
Alright.
PGL brought
So
the
it is-
armor rep
it is
curses
thermal
to
cheesecake.
Veil of the Silent. That was fun.
So now we've got the Anda Dare analysis.
Thermal cheesecake? That sounds fucking fantastic.
Thermal cheese tank,
You want
not
thermal
cheesecake.
cheesecake? I'm gonna yell at my wife.
Isn't every cheesecake a thermal cheesecake? Unless you eat your cheesecake and it's at absolute 0, then I think all cheesecakes are thermal.
It's absence, I guess.
I mean, if you eat it very violently, is it kinetic cake?
Oh, it
I
could
want
be.
you to try and explore
What the fuck?
All right.
where we're at.
So you guys
What?
have lost. You guys have
Yeah,
lost
thermal
your
cheesecake,
fucking
okay.
way in more possible ways than I can think of. Let's bring this back around.
I can bring it back.
Let's
Listen to
actually
it.
talk about things that are
Whoa.
related to Eve instead of strange cheesecake.
We'll talk about the
things.
Anger Games.
Well,
What are
we
the Anger
could, but
Games?
Dirk
Who-
didn't want to
who-
show up.
Yeah.
To the
Damn!
thing.
If only you had some pilots who were flying in the Anger Games in here.
Is that like
Do you know anybody?
Discount Alliance tournament?
I mean,
18 person.
if
It is
I-
indeed Discount Alliance
if I
tournament.
had any pilots that
That's
were
not
in the
an
winners
inaccurate
bracket, I would
Okay,
love to
what the
talk to
fuck?
them. So-
Rain, tell us about your experience in this
Did you
groundbreaking and all important Alliance tournament-esque situation.
Not an Alliance
All right.
tournament-esque situation. It's the complete
Let's
opposite
have
of the
fun
Alliance
with
tournament.
So the Anger Games is a player-run tournament. It's ran by Soth and Dirk Statiel. So it originally started out as an Imperium sort of internal tournament, and then it kind of grew. So it had, I think it was last played in 28. It was either 2017 or 2018, and then it kind of went away when the AT went away and like Thunderdome went away. But this year with CCP Aurora's help, the player-run tournaments have come back. So it's Anger Games Rebirth is the official title. It's a 7v7. So 7 players on each side, 100 points. Ships have their own point values. Only 1 Triglavian ship allowed, and only 2 of each hull type, with Logi ships being excluded. So if you have 2 cruisers, then you can also include a Logi cruiser and have the 3. The Atana is allowed, as there is a Zarmazad, which is a Triglavian T2 armor Logi. So they said to kind of make it fair, they're going to include the Atana. T2 drones are allowed, and there's a bunch of fitting rules that pretty roughly align to the Alliance Open or the Alliance Tournament if you guys watch those. So it's last weekend was the first weekend. So day 1 was all winners bracket, if you would call it that. So some folks went down to the losers bracket, which were shown Sunday, which was day 2. They had a couple technical issues streaming, so like the first couple matches weren't streamed on Twitch, but the rest of them were, and they're now being uploaded to YouTube. They had I was kind of giving Elise and some of the Anger Games folks credit because I believe this was the first player run tournament where they actually had 2 women commentators. So both Mizher and CCP Aurora were on stream or on screen, like in camera, and actually commentating, which was pretty impressive for me since when I joined the tournament scene, there were like no women in sort of any of the tournament stuff besides pilots. I think Ganger Games also probably sets the number of female pilots as well, because I know multiple teams have women pilots. So little subtle shout out there, seeing as how I'm the only woman here too, since poor Dawn is not with us. But so that was weekend 1. Weekend 2 is this weekend. So Saturday, I believe it's around 1800, streaming on Eve_NT_TV. Again, run by Dirk Steele and Soft. So that will be Saturday and Sunday, I believe, also at 1800, same channel. I can kind of find the channel or the website and link it, so if folks want to see brackets or who the teams are or some of the VODs and stuff like that, I can let folks know.
Quick question: When are you playing? Are we
It should be Saturday. I think my team. So my team went out first. We actually placed the Goon team, which they did really well. We had our Drake pilot Boundary, which is kind of funny, and then in our second match, we were in the losers bracket, so it's double elimination. So if you lose one, you're not completely out. So second match, we also had a pilot DC, and he burned his Skybreaker out of the arena. So we're kind of going with the Boundary meme. So I told him I can do Boundary next. So you may see me Saturday, depending if the comp we fly is a good boundary violating comp. So, but yeah, I'm with my team is Ramrod Shenanigans, which if you know anything about the Alliance tournament's all done with folks in an alliance. The Anger Games is whoever wants to join. So you can have friends. You don't have to be in an alliance together. You don't have to be in a corp together. It's just you and your friends all signing up. You can pick a team name and pick a logo and stuff like that. Or you can use your normal one. So I think like Volta has the same name. Warlords of the Deep have the same name. So some of those more seasoned teams. So mine's a bunch of friends.
Some of those teams are fucking disgusting. Like I was watching a few of those matches on this past weekend, and just some of the shit that they were pulling off made me scratch my head like hard scratches.
Does Volta get an extra destroyer slot?
Hopefully not. I think Volta probably has a bad rep now because everyone's going to be watching them to screw up on the rules. What a lot of folks don't know. Oh, so this is all hosted on Thunderdome. I mentioned that kind of at the beginning, but probably wasn't clear. So with Thunderdome, usually within the tool setup to run a tournament, there's rule sets you can set. CCP Aurora wasn't able to get it switched over purely because it's super technical and archaic. So what we've been doing is having the referees try and double check all the rules, but again, you have to the rule pages are pretty extensive, so being able to look at every ship and every fit flagged for different tournaments rules to try and make sure they follow a new tournament's rules is pretty difficult, which is how the Volta incident happened. So hopefully we don't see that in this round. I know because it's all done manually, I think there was a match where the points were miscounted simply because they all had to do it by hand on the fly. So
and there was also one where somebody got disqualified for an illegal comp too.
Oh yeah.
An extra ship.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that where players genuinely do their best. Like I don't ever expect anyone to cheat and stuff like this, especially player run tournaments where the prizes is plex and skins. But at the same time, I also know when I don't know if anyone has ever flown in these, but it's pretty intense. So you can be a pretty comfortable pilot on TQ and pretty good and confident in your abilities, but when you get into the arena and you have to say, okay, here are the bands, here's the ship you need to fly, get it ready in 5 minutes, and then be ready to go on the field, you can lose a lot of what's happening. People, either forgetting to plug in implants or online a module or load a script or something along those lines. It becomes pretty intense for folks. So some of those errors generally tend to happen. But the good news is that the tournament community team, players like us, and then obviously other players in the tournament, as well as the refs and the staff, do their best to make sure everyone's following the rules. So if they see something, they usually are pretty quick to correct it.
Can I just say how interesting it is that players are able to get together and do these tournaments and make them pretty cool, pretty much for free, and yet somehow we can't get an alliance tournament kicking. I understand there are expenses involved, but I kind of feel like maybe we could take these models and make it a lot less expensive for CCP, and we could actually have a reason to use our AT ships again. Just saying.
Yeah, it'd be nice if AT brought back. I'm pretty optimistic because I believe everyone on the community team right now is supportive of tournaments, like just from their experiences in the past. So, who's it? Dopamine is super into tournaments. His background isn't all Eve, so he brings it from a different background, but he's really into esports. CCP Aurora has flown and captained AT teams. CCP Swift has flown and captained AT teams as well as been a commentator. And then you have CCP Convict, who in his past ran EveBet, which got a lot of revenue from tournaments. So yeah, like all these groups, like they all have their different reasons and different like sites on tournaments. So I'm really, really hopeful that the Alliance tournament maybe hopefully makes a comeback in some shape or form.
Well, I understand that it doesn't necessarily apparently bring in new players. I kind of would even argue that, but okay, fair enough. I think it definitely keeps the older players like in the game, in my opinion. It gives you something to look forward to. We start talking about even the Anger Games, which is, player run. And like I'm excited. I like watching that shit. I like the drama, the ups, the downs about it, the comps, like all that shit is like just really, really cool. It may not necessarily bring in new players, but it might actually keep, veterans in the game, as far as I'm concerned. But hey, that's just my opinion.
I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
it would bring new players though, because it
Oh,
with
it definitely would. It definitely
like
would.
thousands of viewers watching it, which is
Well,
what esports has at this point. You get pushed up to the top of the list on the Twitch, and then you're like, huh, maybe I should try that video game. That looks fun.
right. I think that the argument was for what it cost CCP, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. I think that was the official thing, or I don't know who the fuck even said that, but they're like one of them had said that at some point, like a year ago or something. Like, and that's why they basically discontinued it. And I thought that that was really too bad. I think that there are probably you don't have to do it the way you were doing it. You don't have to build have a whole studio and fly people out and have this whole thing. You could probably like do a lot of it remotely and maybe not have perfect quality, but I mean, like you still have it though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can we have some trash talk, please?
Jeremy, shut the fuck up.
If you don't like the Alliance
Yeah.
tournament, you fucking bitch.
Right
How
now.
about that?
Bananas
Trying to
suck.
talk
We're talking about
something
the
important.
Alliance tournament. We're trying to. Listen. I really like the Alliance tournament, but I'm gonna trash talk it. Listen, I don't care about. I hate small gangers. I hate the small gang stuff. So, it doesn't apply to everyone. Let's go back to talking about the war, which everyone's involved
Rich
in,
is
and
not
there was
even
literally
talking.
no one who
This
was
is-
unaffected.
I believe Rain was talking about an entry strategy or something earlier. I don't know.
All I heard
What?
was
Oh, yeah.
Rain monologue for 15 minutes about some AT
The quality,
wannabe discount.
the quality
tournament.
of the Anger Games compared to other tournaments is it's jank.
I already told you they had technical difficulties, so yeah, they're working through that.
No,
But that,
no, not just this time. For
They
like
have mental difficulties.
no, they had problems in the open open scrims. They had problems. They've been having problems the entire time. My biggest concern is some of the commentators don't even know how to manually pilot, to my knowledge.
do you know all of the commentators?
Why
let's
does that
see, there
actually
was-
matter? Okay, well, why does that actually matter, Rich? If I'm watching
If-
hockey, and I understand it's LOL because I just said hockey, not
Are you
every
Canadian?
commentator is some kind of like former pro. Some people literally are just fanboys and like the game and now they're commentators and they do a really good job. They weren't.
That was how
I
I
think
got
they
into
should at least.
commentary. Yeah.
I think they should at
Yeah.
least know what they're talking about. What's going on in the tournament when they're talking about a certain battleship not making movements or going a certain direction. No, it's not because there's a pilot mistake. It's because they're transversal matching.
You know they're transversal matching, or is the pilot fucking up? Because
no,
having been in
they're
these
transversal
matches,
matching.
you sure?
Absolutely.
3/4 of the time somebody talks about transversal matching, nobody's trying to transversal match.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way,
Transversal
for the-
matching is like this elite PvP pilot thing where people are like, oh, he's trans matching. Look at that. It's so good. It's like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, no, he's not. Like, it's one of these like mythical things where like people try to show how like elite they are by talking about trans matching and shit. And it's like the amount of times I've seen people actually do trans matching like in a meaningful way where it made a real difference to their tracking, I can literally count on one hand. Like, it is just not the thing that people like to like pretend it is.
Anytime
I
I
think
ever
you just got
FC'd
curb
like
stomped.
anytime
I
I ever
wanna-
FC'd Cinnables, I tried, but I mean,
I want to interrupt. I actually
why
really
wouldn't
like
you?
Alliance Tournament and Anger games. I'm just trying to trash talk. Don't be mad at me. I like Small
Said
Game
that
2
already.
Goblins. Okay,
let other
good.
people talk.
Jamie,
Good.
when you force it, it makes you sound like a moron. Just
Well, I
But
sound like a
so you
moron
know.
anyways. I
but
sound
the
like a moron
quality.
anyways. It's not any change of cadence for me.
I like
But,
the
I mean,
whole like,
I get that,
guys, I
but
really
like,
don't believe this.
it's
Sorry,
it's
go ahead.
Yes, the
almost like
quality of the anger games. I preferred the 5s that Geronix hosted.
Yes, that was actually really fun.
That
Yeah.
I
had
really
some of the
liked
best
getting
execution.
blown up. Yeah, in Geronix Honor.
I will say, if it's not apparent from Geronix running the 5v5s and then the work Soth and Dirk have been doing, as well as the folks in Even T. So running a player run tournament is absolutely exhausting. And I don't know if you guys know, but like a lot of the tournament community, they act like Karens sometimes when they're asking questions or saying dumb shit. And so it's like absolutely exhausting for some of these people to like not only organize event, do production for an event, organize all the staff and everything behind the scenes, then organize people who are acting like Karens. Like it's super exhausting for them.
Listen to all the complainers. How
Yeah.
dare he have
Well, I tell you
artillery?
what. The tournament, the 5s burned Geronix so much. The only reward he got out of it was quitting for 6 months.
Can we have the
Yeah.
Rich
Poor
Richmond
guy.
tournament? I
So
want to see Rich Richmond commentate on
I've
AT.
commentated. I commentated with for DTM. It wasn't. I didn't know much at the time, and I wasn't very good at it. But
So everyone was transversal matching. Is that what you're telling me?
actually, in that tournament, it was a 2v2s. Transversal matching was very important. Unfortunately, DTM's tournaments, he didn't like how they went, and he had a bit of a tantrum towards on one of them, and it left a bad taste in my mouth since then.
well,
Can
the
there be
final
a
match of that was somebody that just intentionally boundaried to end it.
No, it
and
wasn't
fucked the whole
intentionally the
thing.
boundary, but yes, he did boundary. We asked DTM, let him have a honor match to show what it's really like, but no, he ended the stream there and then. He just quit on the spot and just went silent and got upset. I mean, people make mistakes, things happen. I don't want to. At least put up a show for everybody else instead of leaving everyone going home disappointed.
Oh no, is putting on a show a bad thing? Just out of curiosity,
Well, he
Can we
didn't
have
put on
a
a show. He just ended it on the spot. Like I said.
Can we have a show that song, by the way, that's a parody of everybody's kung fu fighting, but it's everybody's transversal matching?
Everybody's transverse matching. Dun, 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 dun.
That's perfect.
They were pilots.
The scary thing is, I think Villy is one of the few
They
people
were
here who
manual
can transversal match, so I can't say anything bad about it.
Say what, sorry?
I think you are one of the out of everybody in this channel. I think you are one of half of them that can actually transversal match.
Who are the other
fought
ones that can
anyone on this channel.
transmatch? Rich. Who are the other ones? Name them. There's a bunch of people in here. I want you to name all of them right now, so that everybody knows who you're saying can't do this thing.
Well,
Waboo.
I think Rain should be able to transversal match. I'm very
Girl,
sure
I'm
Kagoran
Logi.
can.
I try to avoid getting. I try to always
So,
get transversal.
so yeah, you avoid getting transversal. You should know how to get transversal. I know Kagoran can.
I'm not
Loki
very
probably
good at
can.
it.
Not very good at it. Loki probably can, and I'm not sure about the others.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess half of us can transversal
I'll
match.
send you the video
Thrown
and you
under
can
the
see if
bus.
it's transversal matching.
I got criticized in the last Alliance tournament match that I did because not the last one, but the last one, because I was recklessly just burning in my Lashak, and anyway, there were like these fucking crucies that were like on my ass, and they were literally just approaching me. So I went to the boundary and I stopped, and then they both boundaried, and then the commentator's like, they're winning the match in the worst possible way, and I'm just like, no, I just did that. It was really cool, but anyway. Then I got a
Winning is
bunch
winning.
of shit from people. Yeah, they got a bunch of messages. I was like, well, all right, well, you guys just don't understand. It's fine.
The other thing, Rain, it's just a tiny little thing. Why can't they have the health of people's ships vertically instead of this janky horizontal method? I
Because that's
blows
the
my
way it's
mind.
displayed, dude. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's in the tool.
That's their tool. I don't know how
Yes.
Geronix did so much better without these tools.
The
It was
fancy
such a
UI.
great- Well,
What do you
the
mean
thing
Geronix did
did.
so much better? He literally just had the ships targeted.
He had the ships targeted, yes, but he also had it vertically. It looks so much better than whatever the hell's going on there.
What?
There's not enough
It's like
space to have them
horizontally.
vertically.
Oh, is it because it's 10 ships instead of
7 instead of 5?
7.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, 7 instead of 5. Fair enough. That is
And
a
they have
limitation.
the fancy UI at the bottom, so usually you should be watching the fancy. Oh wait, yeah, you can see the fancy UI. I'm trying to remember if their streamer had that, but yeah, you want to watch the fancy UI and the ship health there. 'Cause usually it shows
could
so
have been
much more
better.
too, because you can see the damage, or not the damage, the defense. So that's the blue bar, and then the purple bar shows how much active rep they have going on, and then the attack bar. So you have the full bar, and then the red is how much they're actually applying damage. So that's how you can tell if stuff's jammed or out of range or whatever. And then the control bar.
I want to see the Richmond tournament. I want to see how you improve upon all these things that you're.
Yeah, Rich.
Rich, come on, it can't be that hard.
Put your money where your mouth is, bitch.
That's a good. You know what?
I
That
mean,
is a
as
curious
much
one.
as I'm
match for
a member of the camp of you shouldn't criticize what you don't do, I am also of the opinion that you don't need to be doing something to be able to criticize it either. I think all of the, tournaments that people put on are I would say kind of like a work of art, right? Everybody has unique styles in the way they do them, and everybody puts a ton of work in, and I think they should be absolutely applauded for, taking the lead on, a community project and providing something to players that they otherwise wouldn't have. It's a really difficult and time-consuming job, and I don't think there's just anywhere near enough appreciation. I think some criticism is valid, but I think it needs to be taken within that context and that understanding that, hey, these people are putting their, their hearts and their time out for you guys. And yeah, if you want to say that something could be better, just try to criticize constructively and in a meaningful way and in a positive way. That's all I would really say about it all. I think some people have done fantastic jobs. Geronix is obviously, the one Rich has cited a ton, but even the ones where you're trying to criticize things, I think there's so much to be said for the people that put work in. Even if you didn't like the final product, doesn't matter. Like, just, it's an incredible undertaking, and they should be absolutely applauded for the work they put in, I think.
But they're goons.
And
we can't applaud goons. It's like rules.
I mean, you can smack talk goons, but goons actually, I think, have a test team flying with them too.
They have something going on.
There's
That
lots
can
of
be
great
applauded.
people in goons.
Yeah.
Like, just because they're goons doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. Like, if it's going to be a goon running, a tournament like that, so what? Like, why should that matter at all?
Especially when they're not restricting anybody coming in. It'd be different if they're, because there's a great tournament going on, but they wouldn't let anybody wasn't a goon in. But then they threw it in your face. That'd be shitty. But they're not. They're letting anybody come play.
So we're not going to terminate all the goons. The ones that run tournaments are okay. All right.
So I'll tell you who isn't a good. I'll tell you who isn't a good goon, and that is the internal affairs directors. My God. So we've all seen the guy who's been blacklisted,
I haven't
formerly
seen it.
blacklisted from.
No, I have no idea what
AC.
you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Executive decision. You get 2 minutes to talk about that.
Yeah. Some guy got kicked out of ASCII.
Wait a
and
second.
he's
Shut
now
up for a
bored.
second. Marius, did you say executive decision? Yeah. You can't say executive decision.
I have the regular.
Yeah, you're a nobody.
Congrats, Marius. You're a mod now.
Wait, what the fuck? What just happened?
Promoted himself.
So okay, this guy named Much84 from Ascendant. Okay, ASCII. He made a terrible fucking joke in local, and he's making the joke. Oh, wonder what their excuse for attacking 1DQ next time. And he made the joke. CCP made the game too expensive. We won't be able to attack. So somebody in his alliance, somebody in his corp, somebody in his group took a picture of that out of context, submitted to their counter intel, and their counter intel blacklisted him on the spot. Now, this guy, from what he's claimed and from what other goons have actually confirmed, is not a spy. He was a contributing member, an exceptional member. So he goes, after getting back from work, whatever, and messages Goon Internal Affairs, and the guy just fucking disparages him. The guy says, "Oh, congratulations, you got a record on getting blacklisted. Even let's say I believe you, and even if I believe you, like look, if you're going to blacklist someone and you got it wrong, the person, if they're going to appeal to someone, the person that they should be appealing to should be advocating for them. It should be somebody that they can talk to, they can trust, that is, well, on the surface, their side. They don't have to, but have some fucking empathy. And this IA director, Heinrich 9000, he could have nipped this whole drama, this Reddit post, everything that's happened in the bud. He could have killed it at its infancy. He could have snuffed it out before it became a fire. But the guy wanted it to escalate. He chucked fuel onto the fire.
This is not democracy. It's a dictatorship.
It's not a democracy. It's not a dictatorship. But look, if you're gonna treat people this way, you're not going to get better members. You're not going to get more exceptional members. You're just going to get more psychopaths who are willing to put up with the bullshit just to stay there. Regular ass people just take the message and leave.
So up to us to make that
got
decision.
a better member when he joined him because I emailed him after that whole Reddit post trying to poach him for test, and he told me he was joining Horde. So,
well, as for Horde, I really hope they learned.
Different groups, morals and political structure to another group doesn't make any sense. We're not a union. You don't get a union for blacklisting. And blacklisting is not only for being a spy. There are shit tons of things you can be blacklisted for.
To be
One of them is bringing the ire of CTP on.
They're gonna
That's one of the things you'd be blacklisted for.
Well,
Period.
it's like
I can't hear a fucking thing but over two of you.
Pandemic
You're
Horde has
pissing me off when you do that.
Has a pretty interesting history of also blacklisting people randomly. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's how they're gonna run their fucking shit, dude. You can't really I mean, you could say, hey, you guys are stupid. You shouldn't be doing it this way. But I mean, they're authoritarian institutions essentially.
There didn't used to be even a chance of like denying fighting a blacklist. It used to be no matter.
And that's how you let good talent slip out the cracks because you don't have anything to keep them in.
Well, they don't care about good talent that much.
Oh yeah, it's just a fucking statistic. As the old Horde saying goes, that's become part of the vernacular. He was just a drop in the bucket. He's just a statistic.
Well, this is part of what's, in my opinion, pretty wrong with the game right now. It's there's just another account that can be N+1ing with us to alpha the other dude's DPS and/or logic, right? Like that's how it's saying. So
There's nobody in any
he's
group.
not a person. He's just a number.
You don't like the rules? Go somewhere else.
Unfortunately, if you scale to the point where you have I don't know, 10,000, 20,000 real people under your control, I think you have to kind of also go to a place where people are sort of just numbers because
no, but here's the thing, Loki, is he had an opportunity to have justice applied to him. He went to the internal affairs guy. He said, oh, can I get unblacklisted? Because this wasn't really something that was blacklist worthy at all. And they treated him as if he had no place, right? You can't do that. I always say this. You can't do that if you're losing a war.
You absolutely can't.
Period.
There's actual proof that we can.
Well, how
then you're fucking your own people over. That's bad. Just saying that's bad.
When you have this level of amateur level counterintelligence and just ridiculously aggressive internal affairs, you're doing more harm to the alliance than you're doing to the enemy spies. This guy was not a spy. I mean, they confirmed it. Mittens, in fact, pardoned him. He actually.
Rich, let's be honest here. The guy's lucky. He didn't get doxxed. He didn't get any death threats. He just got kicked out.
Fuck.
Everything's good.
That's good. That's good. That's how former members are treated. Fuck that.
I don't think that happens anymore.
I really hope it doesn't happen anymore.
Old Goon culture still not in practice.
It was old Eve culture.
That's old Eve culture.
There are probably goons who are capable. I'm not gonna say would do it, but are capable of such feats.
3, 2, 1, Kenshin. Right? I guess.
What?
Wait, did Kenshin actually disband?
No, they joined.
I think they're still around in some Imperium. Now this entire incident, how could it have been avoided? I mean, have some fucking empathy. The guy in internal affairs, he was pretty much the last person he could talk to. Like everybody else shuns you as soon as you get blacklisted, especially in goons because of the us versus them culture. Like, have some fucking empathy. Listen to the guy.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why bother?
What if I want?
If you're wrong, you're gonna like.
What if I want to be an asshole? Am I not allowed to do that? If you don't like hanging around with me, don't hang out with me. I'm allowed to.
You think this guy could have been the next Asher Elias?
gigantic asshole.
Anybody
Elias.
can be Asher Elias, to be fair.
Elias.
From what I'm reading, this guy's not just a statistic. He's
Asher
an
Elias.
exceptional individual. We're all exceptional individuals.
Asher
We all deserve to be
Elias.
treated better.
Let's
Could be afraid of trees.
Let's be honest, Richard.
Rain,
Not
that
all
sounds
of
like a
us are
line.
exceptional individuals, and not all of us deserve to be treated better.
Yeah, most of
Okay?
the people who actually
Whoa,
start
whoa,
excelling.
whoa.
Because
Just because
some
you're
of
not
us-
exceptional does not mean you deserve to be treated less. In many cases, it
I
means you
never
do be.
said that.
It means that was the implication.
No,
Wait a second,
I
Billy.
got into an
Wait a
argument
sec.
with the gentleman at work today because he said that I imply stuff. I don't imply stuff. I say things and I mean them. Because I treat
think-
everybody the same way no matter who they are.
So can I just say that this participation award kind of BS that we're all spewing here, I understand it's really nice and makes us all feel good, but it actually doesn't lead to like creating a better pedigree of like of people. Like, so let's say that this guy is like the next Asher Elias or whatever, right? So now he's going to Horde, and now he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's been basically, I don't know, like told that he's not good enough, or told that he's
That sounds
crap,
more like
or
the
told
next
whatever.
Pittsburgh and not the next Ash.
It's well, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, that's incentive enough. That's drive, man. It drives people. And I know it's super negative, but it's part of it. It exists in our world, whether or not we want to coat it with some pretty veneer where we all say the right things. Because at the end of the day, we'll just find another excuse to get rid of him. Like, well,
As the saying
we are
goes, whatever
all
gets you up in the
awesome.
morning, right?
I mean, I guess.
Here's Loki trying to hand out his next banana sticker.
Loki, you don't.
There are no
It's
banana
not
stickers.
about whether we're saying like that they shouldn't be allowed to do this. I'm just saying.
No, they are allowed to do this.
They're
but-
fucking themselves.
Look, how difficult would it be
Sure,
if
but
you're...
I mean, every organization that does anything in this game at a high level operates like this. And please don't. I mean, maybe not completely outright like that, where it ends up on Reddit. But come on, dude. Like, there's no way that you can tell me that like there aren't elitists in any of the big null blocks.
I don't care about elitism. I care about the end result for these line members.
Well,
Fine.
elitism
Sure.
generally breeds a bad end result for the majority
So
of the line
there can
members,
be
right? Like,
elitists in Test and elitists in Brave, but that doesn't mean that they get blacklisted for one string of text in local.
So I'll be honest here, because I've had basically the same conversation, I think, with Rich like a year ago. The reality is, once you get large enough as an organization, you lose the, how do I put this, the human touch element in many of these interactions, and you become, how do I put this, like you become an organization based on rules. If something crosses the rules, it doesn't get that human touch necessarily to investigate the situation properly all the time. And that's just part of the way it works. Like, there's no other way around it.
Yeah. When you start like, well, okay, I'll let this guy go. I know he broke the rule, but he didn't really mean to. Then this next guy, well, I know you can't do that. There has to be a line. You cross the line, you're done.
This like,
and if you
injustice,
forget quotation marks in something you say in local, then god damn it, that crosses the lines. Just as simple as that.
Well, what happens is if somebody says something that makes people suspect them to be a spy, and they get put in the spy checker zone, and they don't answer the questions that are, standard to that, situation correctly, then boom, they get kicked in most cases, like whether they are a spy or not, right?
Something in the past that you got marked down somewhere, like, oh, this was kind of suspect, and now this happens, gone. Even if they're both of them were innocent, it doesn't matter. There's certain things they don't have the time or the inclination to if somebody goes across the line to see if they really meant to go across the line or not. You did.
I wouldn't want to play in a group that had me treading on eggshells like that.
You probably wouldn't. But
groups don't tread on eggshells, right? Like the thing is, you never realize these processes are in place, but they're in place in basically every large organization past like a very like low size. Like, most of the, how do I put this? Most of the medium-sized alliances, which you wouldn't even think about having this kind of stuff, if they get into a situation where they think you're a spy, you have even less chance, because in many cases, there's no room for the personal touch, and there's no room for the organizational, bureaucratic path out either, right?
Yeah, there's no
Like,
room
they
for
don't have the tools to really check anything out, so it doesn't work well either way. It's unfortunate, but like the way Eve is set up with the spy metagame as it is, there's a lot of unfortunate unfortunate victims or what are innocent bystanders that get caught in the crossfire at times. It's just,
to me,
super sucks.
To me, this internal affairs director, with what he said, the amount of energy he expended, he could have just as easily said, sure, I'll look into it. What can you explain to me what happened? And it might take a few days. You don't have to. It's the same amount of energy spent typing that as what this director typed, and it could have nipped this in the bud. They would have kept it all silent, would be swept under the rug.
What did he say that was problematic, Rich?
This guy.
He told him to go join Horde, and that he had made a land speed record for getting blacklisted. It was literally the most tiny thing in the entire world that someone could have said, and he could have said so much worse. And it's not even.
He could have said so much better.
Rich isn't even involved in it, yet he's so up in arms about it, which is crazy to me.
I'm up in arms about it because I've been blacklisted before, and it sucks.
So have I. It doesn't matter. If you're gonna get blacklisted from a group that's gonna treat you like shit, then were you gonna be in that group anyways? What's the fucking point? So what? The dude's blacklisted from Goons. Who wants to be in Goons anyways?
He wanted to be in
It's
Goons.
not like that blacklist is gonna matter in a year anyways.
He wanted to be in Goons,
saying,
like I wanted to be in Test.
All I'm saying is Goons are losing a war. They can't be doing this kind of shit.
They can, and they will, and they will continue
they can. They can, and they will, and they'll continue to lose. People.
That's why we're trying to kill them. Hello. That's the point. We want this type of archaic bullshit leadership to not exist anymore.
No, you do not. You belong in a group.
Huh? Don't tell me. I am in the best group in EVE Online.
All dictatorships, all of them. There's not one single democracy or fucking constitutional republic.
It doesn't even need
constitutional
monarchy or whatever the fuck.
We're the only ones to do that.
To not be fucking you. They need to get the fucking red hot catheter out the ass of their lawn members. Okay?
Their lawn members?
As for people saying that he's now joined Horde, I don't think he would have joined Horde had this been handled differently. This thread wouldn't have been made if it was handled differently. His friend wouldn't have gone on a warpath had this been handled differently. All it takes is that one IA director not to have a stick up his ass and just have some empathy and just talk to the person with some respect.
You're about to have a stick up your ass in a second.
What is that old Goon poster that's like, we won the war because this, because you did this or whatever?
I don't know. There's so many of them, and I try not to remember their names.
It's an old poster, but it checks out. It's
I remember it.
It updates every year.
It's the old poster where the guy was like, this Nubian Rifter tackled the battleship, and then the battleship didn't make it to the fight, and then that one battleship changed the outcome of the fight because a capital didn't die, and then you win the war.
And this was probably not that type of scenario. But I agree with your next point, Rich, that now we'll never get to find out. But you know who will get to find out? Another group in EVE Online. Because at the end of the day, EVE Online is a video game about spaceships and politics. And just because one group doesn't want you to be involved with their spaceships and politics, doesn't mean another group won't. It's just a circle, dude. You don't have to get up in arms about it. Just like that guy didn't need to make a Reddit post, just like Mr. Mibbles or whatever the fuck his name is doesn't need to do all this shit that he does.
Okay, I'll talk about Mr. Mibbles in a moment. But
no, please don't. Please don't talk about Mr. Mibbles. Don't you dare fucking correct me when I say Mr. Mibbles. I will beat the shit out of you in game, motherfucker.
Is this like a Mitani ult?
I don't know.
No.
When people are treated this way and they're, I guess, alone, people like to seek out other contact. People like to seek validation, and people like to, I guess, be treated better. And I can understand why he would make that a post like that. As for Mibbles,
literally no one cared.
I felt empathy for him because he was blacklisted for something that was kind of stupid. It's a justified blacklist, but I guess the way he was treated wasn't the best. But he's
he
made
shared
his
top
whole
secret fucking intel, dude. What do you mean?
Redline, please.
Not a legitimate blacklist.
Redline,
he
please.
shared
One
top
moment.
secret intel.
I said it was an entirely legitimate blacklist. The way he was handled wasn't ideal. But the problem I have with Mibbles now is just it's his entire personality now. Like, you got blacklisted, you made a post about it. Move on. I mean, I got blacklisted. I didn't really. I mean, I've talked about it, but I moved on. I do other things. So there's people that make the fact that they're blacklisted their entire personality.
You did
also
not.
a repeated bad poster in test, from what I understand, and that was also part of the reason.
I mean, Mibbles and Soban are pretty much the same people. They both got blacklisted from Alliance, and they both spend all their time on Reddit shooting on alliances they got blacklisted from, rather than moving on and doing something productive.
Wait,
just let it go.
Let's be honest though. Like, what does a blacklist even mean? Because I mean, I'm blacklisted from Goons too, and I'm just fine.
Brown list. You're on the brown list.
No, I'm on the blacklist.
I got that authority.
You apply on the blacklist?
You're on the brown.
Does that just mean he's shit? Is
Okay.
that
All right, dude. Then why am I neg 10 to Goons, huh? Huh? Is it because
Ashton.
I don't even have to log in and I'm neg 10 to Goons? That's how scared you guys are at me. You're like, holy. No, it's not because you're an NC.
3 fucking fleets a week.
FCs will get neg
An
10.
FC. He barely logs in.
Hey, I'm coming back, dude.
You're not. You keep saying that. You've never done it.
I was on fleet yesterday, dude. What do you mean?
Fleet yesterday?
Yeah.
Hi, coming back. I'm Gerg.
Look,
Red
all
line?
I'm gonna say is this:
3 months in a row where you
Goons,
you fleet every
Goons,
week. I will leave and come join you.
This is your fucking notice, okay? I'm back, and you're dead.
Everyone's scared, dude.
The A team. It's gonna be
They're
me.
fucking terrified, dude.
They're quaking their boots, Redline.
The rats are
Okay,
probably
first
scared.
off, Jeremy, I may be rusty, but I'm not that rusty. Keep me off your fucking whatever team that you're trying to
Redline,
do.
you can learn a lot from me. Don't worry.
What the fuck are we talking
Dude,
about?
Okay,
look, when I was 3 years old, my dad left and never came back. I could learn from him what being a father is, just like I could learn from you what being an FC is. To say that I could learn what not to do when I'm leading a
Redline.
fleet.
As for what being blacklisted
I mean,
means,
you took his FC lessons too. You did 3 fleets, then left for forever.
You're telling me Redline is your
You
dad
didn't
is
really do 3 fleets.
Holy
You joked
shit.
about the other 2 after you did the 1.
Is this a meme or?
Redline. As for
What?
being what blacklisted means, being blacklisted means the people that you used to fly with that you can't fly with anymore. You have to go look for others.
You explained to me what blacklisted means. I'm blacklisted.
Well,
I know what
what it means to
blacklisted
me.
means.
Nobody cares.
You act like it's no big deal, but to me,
It
being
is no big
blacklisted
deal. Dude,
sucks.
like, it's no big deal.
Doesn't matter.
If your friends were your friends, and you can use this same logic if you talk about when Pittsburgh got blacklisted from Goons and kicked, and his corp didn't follow him. A bunch of fucking ungrateful pieces of shit those guys were. I'm coming for you, Shadow State. You're dead as fuck, all of you. But anyways, I digress. If your friends are really your friends, they'll fucking come with you. Like, you support your friends before you support an amalgamation of mental challenged bumblebees, and that's just the way it is. But if his friends didn't come with him, then his friends care more about their position in one of the worst goon corps in the history of goon corps than their friendship. And personally, I think you can find better friends in Horde.
Horde. You'll find some better friends in Horde than he had in Goonstorm.
Exactly. Drakenhoff says it in chat. If you're blacklisted and your friends won't talk to you anymore, they were never your friends. That's all there is to it.
It's kind of like when you're getting off drugs. Your drug is like, hey, we used to be friends, man. What happened? He's like, I don't want to do drugs anymore. And he just stops talking to you. You never get friend in the first place.
It's completely different than that.
We gotta work on these fucking analogies. Jesus.
Like,
these are some terrible analogies.
Jeremy, is this the kind of things that I could learn from you, like as far as FCing goes? Terrible analogies and like go left when I should go right type shit. Because if so, I'm out. I'll just say AFK. Like, Villy, do I have to learn from this guy? You're the man after all, right? You're the boss.
What?
Can I never FC with Jeremy ever in my life? Please, can you make that happen for me?
Villy controls the Pappy Hive.
If you go to the test FC school, does he have to learn from Jeremy? That's what Redline's asking.
Can somebody please do a "Who's the Boss" fucking meme, please? Like, that would be amazing.
now, dog.
After that,
Who is the boss, really?
Danza.
Hell yeah, dude. Tony
apparently
fucking
it's
Danza.
Philly.
Anyways, so that was fun. Jeremy, you're trash. Your memes are bad. You're a terrible FC. But you are a terrible FC. And at least you log in, dude. You got that going for you.
I'm at least C tier already. I'm
You
better.
do more than Redline.
Oh, that's not hard to do.
You're
You also-
probably at least. You're almost certainly B tier at least at this point.
You
That's a
also do
nice
more
thing
than
you've ever
both
said to
Goon
me.
FC.
Wait, so what's A tier though? Like is A tier like Elo or like
Say again, sorry.
Asher.
like in this
Ilias?
scale that we've created? Is there an
I
S in
think
this scale or is it
Elias.
like?
Yes, there is an S.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Is there a Q?
Does Asher even log in?
No.
Sure,
He took out Saturday Swarm Saturday, I think.
I
only got
believe
like 30 people in fleet, but
We need to make like a
the,
tier list.
the current line is that Asher is in cryo, ready to come for all the puppies when they jump into 1DQ. So he'll be in cryo for a little bit longer.
Okay.
That's
And the first
what I heard.
Red trees, right?
won't be important enough, and then we'll get the iHub, and that's still not it. So
Yeah, can we go back to the town hall discussion?
If you want to, yeah, you want to talk about the town halls? I'd certainly love to hear more about the town halls.
I want to press the whole we were not going to use supers because obviously what's going to happen is both sides want to avoid like an M2 situation where they just can't get their caps in feed. So one side will most likely not commit their supers to if the other side is already over what they think local can carry. And I think both sides can be wary of feeding their feeding their supers too early in the fight. If that makes sense.
I mean, I don't think it's a matter of too early. I think it's a matter of at all. Like
at all.
The
Well,
fact
I mean,
the fact that the Matani was talking about asset safety so much that someone actually decided to take the time to count out how many times he said it, that is pretty impressive and a pretty big indicator that he doesn't expect there to be a super fight that they can take either, because as long as everything goes according to plan, there's not going to be an opportunity for one. It'll literally be Pappy's supers on a Fortizar or some shit, big ballin' if it's a Keepstar in 1DQ. By the way, Billy, like I'll give you all my money if you do that. But the thing is that it's going to be all the Pappy supers, Skynetting fighters over to the Keepstar to kill it, and Goon Titan just sitting on the undock like, well, what do? We warp away and fight their their supers, then we're out of tether range and we're not safe. Or they stay there and then the Keepstar dies. And it's just it's
I have a
too
question.
easy
I don't
not
know
to
off
have
the
a
top
super
of my
fight.
head.
You don't know much off the top of your head, but go for it.
I don't know. Intra-system asset safety. How long does it take?
Pretty sure it's the same amount of time.
7 days. Is it 7 days?
Pretty sure it's 5.
Or 5? Okay. So I was because once the Imperial Palace and or the Super Cap staging falls, I would be really surprised if Goons could remain combat effective in any significant way because all their stuff is going to be trapped in asset safety in between the structures in 1DQ. So I'd be real surprised if they maintained any ability to contest the fall of 1DQ after either one of those structures falls because they lose a super capital, then we can use our own capitals with impunity. Sub capital staging, we can pretty reliably use our sub caps to counter.
I will say this, that you've got to be a little more clear, because what I think you're failing to see is that the fall of 1DQ will happen long before the first Keepstar in 1DQ dies. Those Keepstars are going to die probably the same way all the other Keepstars did, without any contest, because by the time we get there with all the things that we've got to do to make our plan work, assuming we have the same plan as we've had before, which, to be honest, I think they made a new back channel and I'm not in it anymore, so I don't know what the plan is off the top of my head.
The plan I described earlier.
Yeah,
Kick
that one.
non-FTs
Exactly.
out, dude.
There is
So
exactly one
the-
person in this room this metaphorical room who could tell you vaguely what the plan for 1DQ is, and I don't think he's going to spill the beanos.
I mean, if the plan is to do the same thing that we've been doing for the last 4 months, then 1DQ will be considered fallen before that first keep star dies, 100%. Because there will be nothing left except for the keep star. The faction Fortizar on the iHub grid, gone. The iHub itself, gone. All of it just gone except for the keep stars. And then what are you gonna do? Just sit there and watch shit die? Like, come on, this isn't M2.
I mean, it's a logical. It is the logical Alamo-esque last stand. You know, you won't take Fountain. You know, you won't go to Delve. You won't kill a keep star in Delve. You won't come into 1DQ. The last line in the sand that they could possibly draw outside of you won't go to Ermelin is you won't kill the.
You just described the next line of defense. You won't camp us in Ermelin.
Yes.
And we will. Our Hectors will blot out the sun.
But the reality is, yeah, it's going to be a slow slog for a while. We're going to strangle the system of 1DQ in the constellation bit by bit, which will obviously take a while to get full control of the constellation. Once we do that, it'll enable us to begin, sieging on 1DQ, which will eventually lead to a fight over the iHub. Once the iHub is taken, there'll be a situation where we will have our own iHub, which will variably give us control over the sinos in the system, and then we can begin choking out supplies, and or we can proceed through a variety of different ways to just siege 1DQ more effectively than before.
It's all going to be fun, and you still have time to pick a side, right?
And see, everything that Billy just said is what I just said, just with different words, but it sounds better because Billy said it. Like,
because Billy knows what he's talking about.
I said the same thing, so clearly I know what I'm talking about too. What do you mean?
You don't have the mic drop back.
Said it. Minus
Look,
100.
all I
IQ.
know is that with how many times Billy drops the mic on this show, I've actually bought like a dozen microphones just in case he breaks one. So Billy, just be a little bit more careful with your mic drops, okay? The Eve is real.
What do you even
thing.
mean?
You remember last week or week before last when you did that Eve is real thing? People
Oh,
loved
yeah,
that,
yeah.
dude. They called it the biggest mic drop of all time. I had to replace the microphone because you dropped it so hard. It's a joke, obviously. It's a joke. I don't know if you have those in
Really
Canada,
bad.
but it's
Really
not
bad joke.
bad. It wasn't a bad
Horrible
joke. It was a decent joke.
It's a horrible joke.
It was a decent enough joke. Decent for this crowd. Gee, what do you mean, horrible joke?
It's like a Jeremy joke.
Okay, sorry. If it was a Jeremy joke, I'm really sorry.
Can't believe I got dressed up for this shit.
Did you? Are you even wearing pants?
I am wearing pants, actually.
Prove it. Let me see your feet.
What? Well, wait. Feet and pants are two different, garment things. I'll send you some pics later, sweetie.
Feet pics.
Everybody in the chat is pissed off now because I said for this crowd. I'm super sorry, guys. That wasn't. No, you're right. That was a dig at you. I don't.
Oh, dude, I'm wearing jeans, dude. Also, I'm waiting for Wally to spontaneously appear.
So they just killed the fort in Cormonan, right? Dock worker staging fort. Is that correct?
Who? Who killed who?
Nosecnia.
Oh, nice.
Una memento. I actually have no idea. I've been on this show instead of doing what I was supposed to be doing, so I got home really late. I'm gonna say more than likely.
Well, it's on the kill board, so.
Oh, there you go then. So
yeah, more than likely.
Not pretty sure yet.
No, why the fuck you asking me for, dude? Come on.
Don't.
So
well, I thought you might have something to discuss about it, being that you might know what's going on. But
no, I actually have no fucking idea. I think you know more about this than I do, my friend.
Don't you guys need those things?
The faction forts?
The staging forts? Isn't that a thing that you need?
Staging forts. Well, in Losec, not technically, but they are nice to have, right?
It's a Marginis, so it's obviously a nice fort. Another 100 bill down. But
and for what?
Well, I mean, it's part of Snuff and Nosecnia's campaign, right? I mean, at this point, the campaign is definitely very much like Nosecnia. I don't know,
FRT.
Yeah, like the winter, and it's a very
Nah.
weird vibe about it now compared to what it was. Because I feel like with so much nullsecnic, it's just not as, how do I put this, like low sec centric. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, Snuff has basically bastardized the way that we do warfare in low sec. But to be fair, RC has also, right? Like, to be fair.
There it is.
Yeah, but
Snuff.
you guys are null sec alliance anyways, so no biggie.
Or null block, as discussed previously
definition.
on an earlier show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
by
and we're not
definition.
going to do it again because Loki always goes on a tirade and talks about shit we're not actually talking about. So
No, the things that I actually talk about, if you're listening, like generally do tie into the things. Like, it could be a 1+ from what we're talking about, but it does actually make sense. You guys
no,
just
it's
don't listen to what
the
you guys just
tangents.
stop fucking listening to what I'm saying. Like, that's what you
What'd
guys
you
do.
say?
So it's fine. Like, I don't give a fuck. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly, dude.
Loki, you know we love
What
you.
the hell is a Banana Republic?
I don't know that you love me, but
Have I not
I
told
mean,
you
I
lately?
don't
think
really, honestly, if we're being honest, dude, I don't really care that much. I don't need to be liked. I don't have that I'm on the show, this week. So there you go. We're having fun. We're laughing.
Hell yeah, dude, bonus points.
Well, most of us. Rich is crying, but it's okay.
I mean, I didn't
What
hear
is-
much crying, but okay.
He's crying. He's crying for someone else.
Actually back on the show after being gone for a while. So yay me.
I mean, I
right?
noticed that.
Yeah, nobody noticed. That's great. That's awesome.
No, I said I noticed that. What do you?
Oh
Who's
shit.
back?
What'd you notice?
Sager's
Who?
back.
Who's back on Discord?
Sager.
Nobody important.
Sager?
It's fun.
Oh.
Yeah, the fuck goons. Fuck goons, man.
Yeah, friends.
Good. You have to pay him a lot. Good.
Yeah, I get paid to do that actually. Maybe. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100 mil every time you say it, so don't spam it though. That's rude.
Aw.
Once a day.
That meme. Anyways,
That's
what
There's
else
not.
are we going
There's
to talk
actually-
about today?
It's right next to 3 times a
We've
week.
been keeping it alive for you.
Oh, I thought that's what you said. I thought you said 3 fleets a week. You didn't say 3 fleets a week? What did you
I
even
did.
say?
I don't know if there really
Pretty
is
sure that
that
was
much
the
to talk
Spinners
about,
thing.
honestly. Like, the war continues on.
Last
bit
Keep
by
Star
bit.
and Delve.
Yeah, Last Keep Star in Delve that's outside the
And-
One
and-
DQ
yeah.
constellation died today. There's 11 Fortozars left in Delve outside of the One DQ constellation that'll be cleaned up over the coming weeks, which means that basically, all the structures outside of the One DQ constellation are all but cleaned up at this point. We're starting to begin harassment of the constellation. We had a nice little fun fight this afternoon, and hopefully it's going to be a sign of good things to come.
And earlier today with the big Ferox fight.
That's what I was
Talking
talking
about?
Oh, I thought you meant that one in 3D we had earlier today as well.
Yeah,
Speaking
I
of
mean-
Feroxes, Villy, I heard you were selling 1,500 Feroxes.
I was jokingly selling them. Like, I know a place where we might want to use them now all of a sudden. So
You don't actually have 1,500 Feroxes, right? You have much more.
no,
You'd sell
it's
their
only
whole
about
stock.
50.
1,400,
It's only about
900.
1,500.
It's a little under 14.95.
So
Plus
we
tax.
we got to make sure that we mention earlier today when Frat fed to the gate, because apparently that was a big deal too. It was a very
Little right-
small
right, it was
fight,
funny.
but
But
it's huge
overview.
because it was a win for goons. So you got to make sure that you talk about the goon wins, otherwise they just think you're in an echo chamber, which is kind of sad. But
Oh yeah, Mibbles was all over that.
yeah, but he was strangely silent when everybody was posting Reddit threads about the 3D fight that they lost, like by 70.
Didn't they
was
get
also-
smoked in 407 today too?
I think they pretty much just.
Oh,
get
did we even
smoked
talk about
wherever
French
and-
Connection collapsing?
Oh
Did
yeah,
they
that.
They
collapse?
did?
Who?
Pretty
French
much cool.
Connection?
Yeah.
Damn, what'll the
Well.
French community join then?
The Imperium loses another alliance, kind of thing.
Oh, the French people can join my alliance. Nous sommes bilingues et on veut.
Horde has a pretty big French
faire
community
beaucoup
from
de
what I
PVP,
remember.
faire
Fan
beaucoup
fam.
de PVP dans
My
les-
understanding is
had
their
Alliance,
main
it's-
corp left and joined Initiative, and their second corp is leaving and should be gone soon as well.
Fucking poaching people.
It really isn't
This is the
poaching.
way.
It's just an internal.
Well, I mean, the reality is like
phrase is assimilation.
I mean, the reality is all of these smaller Imperium alliances are really struggling right now, because for most of them they have their supers trapped in 1DQ and their member base either in 1DQ doing nothing or outside of 1DQ trying to hold space that they're not really established in, right? So it's a really awkward situation for them.
Billy,
And they don't have the core, Goon Swarm support network to kind of keep them, happy and content while they sit and live in 1DQ.
Has the Silk Road been
I'm very happy with our alliance by choosing to not do that and be outside.
Yeah, the Silk Road is fine. We got another Titan that joined last night. Like, it just, bit by bit.
Anyone
Do you
make
track
a video for the 18th birthday contest? Anyone gonna step up and do that?
I might submit some clips.
So somebody said something funny in chat. They said Goon Supers are trapped in 1DQ as much as Pappy Supers are trapped in T5Z. So Goon Super pilots leave. Go.
I could have sworn our supers were trapped in PS9 as they killed the Keepstar too this
Thing.
afternoon.
Is it trapped if you're choosing to be there? If you want to be somewhere else, you can't. You're trapped, right?
Well, the thing is,
if
like,
you're choosing to be there, you're not trapped yet. We're not trapped yet because we're still choosing to be there.
So that's
Do you have any choice? But I guess asset safety.
Used to commit a crime.
If the
jail
walls
willingly, it
close
still
in,
means you're in jail for as long as they put you in there.
yeah, if the walls close in and you're feeling good about it, but you're not about to be, you're still trapped before you realize your mistake.
No,
I think it's
trapped.
very.
I'm choosing to be there.
I think it's very telling.
It might not make it, but I can try if I wanted to. I don't want to. I like what's
Billy, all these people who've God damn it, I'm lost my train of thought. All these people who've taken their Titans out via the Silk Road, where do they generally go, or you don't keep track of it?
Where did they go?
Yeah, where do they generally go? What's
the majority of them are joining Hoarder Test.
Oh, I see.
Like most people who take, actually, Frat's got the biggest. They've been absolutely raiding the Goon Chinese community. Yeah, Frat's gotten more than probably Hoarder Test combined, but like the majority of people who are just going to go neutral aren't taking the pass out. It's mostly people who are just defecting flat out. I would say it's Frat then Horde then Test in terms of who's getting people. I know Nancy's getting a couple too. Like everybody's picking up a couple. Their friends are like, "Yeah, man, you don't have to be camped here. Come, chill with us, and we'll take care of you." And people are like, "Oh, thanks, man. It sucks. It's boring." I'm like, yeah, come on over.
Can I just mention that I actually do have French-speaking people in my corp currently?
I'm sorry.
That, and what are you doing with that corp?
That's so awesome, dude.
We are recruiting. Actually, I can say it in French too.
Are you recruiting?
La République bananière veut votre participation. Thank you.
What'd you just call me?
Yeah, unfortunately, for like French Connection is they were a decent alliance, and it's kind of really sad actually because I remember when we chased them out of Detroit and they got pushed into Pureblind and then they got shoved into Fountain. Like they've made the wrong diplomatic choice like every single time for like 2.5 years, like just kind of coin flip bad decisions, and it's just.
But we understand there's also quite a divide within it too. Two different factions, I want to call it. A lot of internal shit. It's not only external stuff causing them to collapse.
Wow,
probably also
actually like. Well, hold on for a sec. So it's important to understand because this is one of the foundational rules for breaking alliances in Eve, is that external pressure creates internal collapse, right? Like. Like so every time somebody's like, oh yeah, it's all internal stuff, it's like the internal stuff would have never been there if there wasn't the external stuff to push it. Like,
so, but I think in French Connection's situation, that's untrue. The internal.
No, it is absolutely true.
Yeah, there was two different groups that didn't want to.
Guess what? All of a sudden, they were able to live together in harmony for a year, 2 years, or whatever.
No,
all of a sudden now,
they had two different groups spread in two different areas because they really couldn't get along very well. That's been a thing forever.
Right, but they were able to coexist in that alliance, right?
By avoiding each other. I mean, it's not
yes. But they were able to exist.
It was created by the external pressure. The external pressure made it worse. I agree. You're right.
Yes, external pressure creates internal. Yeah. Like if there's no external pressure, these problems just don't go anywhere, right? Like if there's no external pressure, then alliances just make do and they survive and life goes on, right? It's when you have the
Yeah.
external pressure as well that the cracks are ripped apart and it creates the situation where
You
know
meant just
those
external
collapse.
pressure created the internal drama. The internal drama was there. It just
There's internal drama in every single major alliance in this
That's not a
game.
Bastion. Oh,
Right,
I mean,
like
you said major.
yes, I can
No, you
guarantee
said
you there's
major.
internal
Sorry.
drama in the Bastion as well.
You said major. Sorry.
Like
There's no internal drama at the Banana Republic. We like to keep
You're a
things
corp,
low-key.
not an alliance.
There is
also not
absolutely
call you
the
it.
Not yet, we're
internal
not.
drama in Dread Bomb. Like
Oh yeah, everybody does that.
Oh, Loki, how does it feel for Dread Bomb not to be the latest drama in RC, though?
We're not talking about that.
I mean,
by the way,
I'm really trying to. I mean, no. All I'm gonna say to that is I'm really trying to up my game to make sure that
We're not
next
talking
week is
about what,
all about me. We're not talking about RC.
Don't
drama.
say it. Don't say it. Don't
no,
talk about
so
it.
like French Connection were good guys, and you know, it's unfortunate. Like maybe they'll still continue on for a while, but when you lose your like top corp and then your second top corp, and it's like you're living in a place with no home, and you've got like I think do they even have a staging Fortizar anymore? Like
You haven't seen anything for alliances when you lose that corp that has all your like not necessarily
your
leadership.
core people, right? Yeah, your
core
FCs,
people,
your
that just kills an alliance.
yeah.
That's why I
Somebody
think
who's
that
active.
the current alliance structure, which by the way does work, is a little silly for that reason, in my opinion. But I understand that it is because of how. If you want numbers,
But over the years, all
you
alliances
gotta, you gotta have lots of corps, and eventually one corp reigns supreme. If that corp fucks up, and they're not directly tethered to the executor corp, then you're pretty much like fucked.
Yeah.
I will actually say that French Connection was actually fun to fight in Detroit when I was in Winterco. When I was actually fighting Villy, it was actually really fun.
Well, yeah, because French Connection didn't want to pick a side, if I remember correctly, in Detroit, right? They wanted to
And then they
stay
picked
neutral.
Evicted.
And then they what?
Then they fought alongside Evictus for a while.
Oh, before the war started, right?
And then they left.
There's so many French jokes there. Holy cow!
Yeah, unfortunately, they just ended up on the wrong side of the winners of every war for like the last couple of years.
I think you put it very well. They made every diplomatic
Well, no,
decision they made.
that's not
Yeah,
true.
you guys are exactly right.
French Connection when like did they not join? Like they were allied within it in the northern version thingy.
The what?
The
Or they got
whole
put
glassing of
lost?
tribute and all that kind of stuff. Is that considered a
They
war
were not
still?
Imperium. They were not Imperium members at that time.
Well, no,
there was
but
a
they
big
were-
announcement when
they-
they got turned into actual Imperium members, right?
They might as well have been.
I don't think they were really.
After the Pureblind and X47, all that kind of stuff, they were basically members of the Imperium at that point. Like
They were valued allies.
They were light blue. They weren't like Imperium proper because they still lived outside
In
of
all
Imperium
honesty, you
space.
couldn't necessarily count on them for anything you wanted to do. It had to coincide with their wishes too, which is a good kind of ally. I mean, honestly, if you want to be an ally with a big group. Yeah, if
I
they
don't
just
remember
did
them in
everything
X47. Maybe I'm wrong.
different. Yeah, they didn't. At first, they didn't do that anyway.
I think it was afterwards because I remember fighting FXR in Pureblind, and then after that war was over, I'm saying they were then on the Imperium side, because then I was like, oh, we just got finished fighting these guys, and now they're helping us. Fuck this. What?
Was that because they needed him, like they let him move through or something weird? It was some weird reason they were blue after that.
I don't know.
He didn't stick around very long.
Oh,
They
they
like
also
kind of
got-
just phased through us for some reason. It was weird.
They
'Cause
also
I remember
got
we had
pretty
to
good
shoot
beat on
in Fountain.
with-
It was
we were beating
after
on Storm
we got
Trade.
done fighting them.
And I think the other alliances that have been sent to Cash are having a rough time as well. Somebody told me that Hanzo had a max CTA the other day and got 13 people.
From what I can tell,
What's
all
better
of
than 12?
the all
did
of the
better than 12.
offensive actions that the Imperium are making have pretty much stalled. Like anything that's not that
Well,
hasn't
I mean, they
already been
ran out
done
of
by
like
Dread
easy
Bomb.
structures to glass, right?
Yeah,
And
anything
yeah,
that
and
wasn't
Dread
done
Bomb
by Dread
isn't like
Bomb.
carrying them across the finish line in terms of like structure kills. So it
Wait, Treadbomb's not carrying who across the finish line?
initiative and giving you US time
Dude,
zone.
if we actually put on a sheet how many structures Dreadbomb has killed,
It's not about how many
very
structures
little.
you killed.
How
It's
many
about the
structures
fact
you're
you
killing
counterformed
now.
every time Legacy formed to defend structures.
Right. But I
Are
mean,
we
we haven't really, like, as far as carrying in it across the finish line, nobody gives a fuck about where in it ends up on a finish line. Like, just to be clear, like, nobody in Dread Bomb gives a shit.
Right,
about
but
that.
that
So
makes
you
it
guys-
almost worse.
Do
Guys
you
really gonna
remember?
rehash this?
Do you remember
So
that one
you're-
time when we were like, "Yeah, Loki, sometimes you say things that are kind of off topic." That's literally what Billy just said. Like
Loki,
almost
you
word for
really sure you
word.
should be saying that about
Is that
Loki?
is that you
Are you
guys
sure
aren't
you really?
carrying Enid and Goons across the finish line anymore?
Loki, are you sure you should be saying this about your friends, people that you're working with? Do you have that little respect for them?
I'd be very careful talking with my friends that like about my friends that way. But
I don't know.
talking about
Do you
the
speak
initiative,
to
so I
other
don't
people
know.
that you work with this way? Do they mean so little to you?
Depends.
Okay,
It
let's not
depends on
go
which,
into this too much, guys.
Depends on which era of my life
We've
we're talking about. But no, I do not.
We've had this show before. We don't need to have it again.
I believe it was
Billy,
like a
have you
month ago.
have you put your CSM thing in yet, or are you doing it? Or have you decided? I guess.
Was that me? Sorry.
Yeah,
War
yeah,
against the
Billy.
unsubstantiated.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about Rich.
I'm gonna write like part of the application process is you're supposed to say write your Eve history or whatever. So I'm actually gonna write my Eve history, which is
That's cool.
long. And
Well, you started last year, right?
yeah. Well, I was sitting in a room the other like on Sunday or whatever, and I was like, all right, I'll start writing. I started writing. I got like 3,000 words in. I was like a year and a half in. I'm like, fuck.
So
You
would
know,
you say
it's-
that you've also had a hard
You know what?
history?
That's
Any
the
drama?
level.
Is that like an
kind of
it's like an
story.
autobiography kind of?
Something like
Great
that.
for a long time.
I don't know. Just have some fun with it, right? Like, but yeah, I'm gonna run again. I'll do one final term, and then I can never have to. Then I both can't and won't be doing.
You know, is
again,
it still that you get to skip 1 year, or not, is it no? You can't ever.
You just
Yeah, you can skip a year, but I like.
Well, you do one,
I've
I'm
gotten
just
really
kidding.
lucky with like a combination of like my real life responsibilities where I'm even able to do these things. So
No, I get it. Yeah.
um,
There's a
you
lot of
know,
people
I'm
running
not
this
gonna.
year so far. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest here. There's going to be 6 or 7 block candidates, as there
Oh, for
traditionally
sure.
is.
No, the outcome's always the
So you're looking at that same 3 or 4, kind of open seats that people are realistically competing for.
You're probably gonna
same.
see
Like
a lot
the year there
less
was
like
what?
goons
In the
this
year
year,
there's
though.
80 some candidates.
I don't
I mean,
know if you'll see
just-
that many. Yeah, you'll see less goon turn-in, I'm sure, but I don't think it'll be less enough, or I don't think there'll be enough of a shortage that they won't be able to get 3 candidates again. I think that they'll obviously get their main candidate and they'll probably get their second, and I think Brisk will be, with a combination of initiative and everything else, he should probably be in again. I mean, realistically, Brisk, as much as I'm not a giant fan of the Imperium candidates, is arguably like the second or third most like effective CSM member. So
Who's
it's
the first?
You.
no, this year it's been probably Kenneth, if I had to be
Kenneth has
honest.
been he's been a great communicator.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Carrying all the
Like,
economic
My
shit on his
thing
fucking
with
back.
candidates is a communication after election. That's the most important thing. And
it's the most important thing to you, but like I'm judging on a scale of like it's different, let's say.
Yeah, but you can see behind the scenes. We can't.
Yeah, but like this year, like just because of the focus of what's been going on, and like to me it's probably been Kenneth, and I wasn't even a big believer that Kenneth was going to be a great candidate before the term, right? But I think realistically he's probably been the most influential or consequential this term. And this is my first term with Brisk, and he's done a fantastic job at keeping CCP focused on like a lot of things, and furnishing them with player feedback at times. It's not the role I kind of fill, but it's a role he takes up and he does well and he pushes hard. So I think it'd be a shame to lose either of them, although certainly both are possible, right? If Brisk is just number 3 on the Goon ticket, there's not going to be a lot of strength from him if it's only initiative with their small contingent of players now. So it's
I doubt that Brisk will just be 3 on the Goon ticket.
Well, realistically, if he's number 3, there's a chance he doesn't make it, right? Because initiative's a lot smaller now than they were last time, and he got on like
No,
what,
they're bigger,
9th
aren't they?
last year.
Like actually bigger?
No, they're not even close to the size they were when this war started. Like they're like 60% less, I think, something like that. Like
66%
actual size.
less active.
But activity translates, right? Like between the loss of initiative mercenaries, between corps leaving, like a lot, like there's been a substantial change in actual size for initiative. So
They have
I thought
4,630
thought
characters, right?
Initiative mercenaries just joined Initiative proper.
right,
did.
That was
but that covered up the losses of regular members as they lost Fountain, right?
gotcha. That makes sense, I guess.
But yeah, I think it would be really unfortunate if Brisk would be lost. But it's definitely, like I say, if he's number 3 on the Goon ticket, there's a very real possibility he won't be there. Because I feel like it's really hard for a lot of the unaligned voters to vote for him, because they want to vote for the candidates that they feel are not nullsec, and a lot of them are going to feel like he's got enough support from his meta show camaraderie, I guess you could say. So I think the goods will almost certainly, without it, get 2 candidates. But if Brisk is the third, I'm definitely worried that we won't see him again. Test has 1 for sure, and there's a non-zero chance Ron could pull out the victory from his ability to garner additional votes through streaming.
Don't fucking scare me.
Yeah, you may not like Ron, but there's a lot of people that do, right?
I like him as a person. He was the guy who consoled me when I was removed from test and when I had issues there. But as a CSM candidate, he scares me because he's too noble. I don't see him
just
thinking
because somebody
any other...
doesn't say the things you don't like doesn't mean they don't.
No,
like
it's not that he doesn't say the things I like. It's that he only has one mindset for the game, and that mindset is very narrow.
You don't know that. You've only
Doesn't-
seen one mindset from.
That doesn't get very far in CSM either. If you're one of those people that goes in only trying to benefit you, you get shut down pretty fast.
I mean, Ron is very new bro focused, I feel. Is that a bad assessment?
No, he's very no block focused.
I think it's very explosion focused.
Is Zarvox running again?
Zarvox never ran. Sutonia is running.
Or
Torvald? No.
Torvald, sorry, Jesus.
No, he has real life, I think, because I think he's going
Yeah.
on deployment.
I was, for some reason, I was like streamer and Zarvox. I'm like, no.
Baleful's running.
Yeah,
Baleful's
so
running it.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like between the various Eve streamers, including Ron, there's probably enough votes to mobilize a ticket. I don't know who will end up with that seat. It's a very hard calculation to make because just nobody really understands that voter base like at all, realistically. I think if it was Bjorn, I think he'd be a shoo-in, but all the rest of them have ups and downs. They're not as, how would I put this, universally beloved. Like every one of them has their detractors and their their lovers and their haters.
Yeah, Extra Squishy's popular, but he's too controversial.
He's a brand risk.
I don't think CCP is going to let him run. They won't let him be partner.
Squishy won't. Yeah, that would be my assumption as well.
But Sutonia, I think, would be a good one because he's done it before, and then just because he's done it before, so there's no like onboarding delay with him. But like I really like Baleful, so like if she got in, I'd
I definitely plan on putting her on one of my ballots. At least one of my accounts will have her at the top of my ballot.
It's really hard to evaluate. I would hope so.
Well, because isn't her name also Arcia?
Yeah, I thought she was
her
running.
in-game name is Arcia. Her Twitch name is Baleful.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, most people probably know her as Baleful, if I had to take a guess, just because it's so much more prolific than Arcia, right? Just because of
really
TAS and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I would think.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard of her as Arcia, but as Baleful, I know exactly who you're talking about without a shadow
when
of
she
a doubt.
comes on TIS, she uses her in-game name, but on all her streaming, it's Baleful.
They introduce her as both on TIS most of the time.
Yeah, it comes up. I think she does her
But
named.
one of the things this year is we might actually get a wormhole candidate again, I hear, and we've also got Haiwanto trying to take the low sex. So
yeah, I expect Wanto and Phantomite to split the Losec vote to much to get either one on.
I have a strong feeling High won't get in simply because of the detraction against Snuff. With Phantomite, I feel Suetonia might potentially split the vote. As for Orin, the wormhole candidate, a lot of people will not vote him simply because he's hard knocks.
Oh, you don't think Wanto is someone you want to trust?
You know what? I trust
Alan
him
was
more
a
than I
great
trust
friend.
Dreadbomb. Anyway, let's go.
You trust Wanto more than
I trust
really?
Wanto more than I trust Wrecking Crew.
What the fuck did Wrecking Crew ever do to you, dude? Jesus.
Hello?
They sold his Fortizar. That wasn't even his Fortizar.
You don't see Wanto ordering Space Detroit to be pulled down for asset safety money. Oh, wait, because they don't need to.
You did see him try to extort the TTT, though.
Oh, yeah, I did see him try to
They
extort the
literally-
TTT.
In the middle of the casino war, they turned on the people they were being paid to be allies with so they could kill a fucking super in a pause, dude. Like, I don't know.
Like
I mean,
4 supers, wasn't it? Or
I don't know. I don't know. It was a
Shadow
bunch, but
Cartel and nobody cares.
regardless, I actually tore their alliance apart. Like, that's how bad that got. So, like, I don't know, dude.
We'll see.
I'd say I mean, I don't know. It's rough.
We'll see.
Is Seto running? Like officially?
Oh yeah, somebody told me that.
I haven't seen a thread.
I
Or
don't
maybe
know
I'm not
if
paying
he's
attention.
Officially running. I'm assuming he is, but
So
I
it sounds
don't
like the
know that for sure.
LoSec block vote is going to be quite much more contested than it was last year for sure.
So
Rix is
no
also
Lols-
running as well.
so no
yeah, Rix
LulzSec
Javix is
candidates
running.
this year. Got it.
The only person from RC who's
Who
done a
is-
thread yet is Gideon Zendikar.
Gideon's a cool guy, actually. I was a Spinus Corp for a little while.
But wait a second. Why should Seto be a low
So is he.
candidate?
Oh god, this man, he's too into the memes. Someone get him a meme relief.
I mean, they're memes with a point. It's funny though.
A Pepto meme mall.
But
That was bad.
Meme is Sillen.
Jeremy joke.
you said, what does Rix Javix do? Why do I know that name?
He's
He's
an
the art
all
guy.
artist.
He just posted
Literally all the art.
Banners. Yeah.
He used to do all
Literally the what? Sorry.
all art.
Art.
He does all the posters and stuff.
He had a contract with CCP.
He also does a
to
lot of
sell it.
alliance logos. He does a bunch of art shit for ETH.
Did a lot
But
of
he's
the
with the Band Apart and Stay Frosty and LoSec.
did a lot of
He's,
the blog stuff, blog banter and stuff.
So what's his campaign based on? What's his kind of? Why would people vote for him?
Didn't he get in a fight with Grath at one point?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's every other person in the game who's got a brain.
You never met him.
I'm pretty sure his position is he's Rick's fucking Javx vote for him.
You just
I
have to
I have
breathe
no
and you
idea.
can get in a fight with Graph.
Yeah.
Not too hard.
When you have people like
No,
Graph who don't know what they're
okay,
talking about, more often
The,
than
circ-
not, it's not hard.
the circumstances
going
of
off on red line.
The circumstances of Rick Javix and Grath is not for the stream to discuss because it doesn't involve in-game things.
Yeah. So
Sure.
Dominar, what did he say for his did he give like a blurb for his campaign on Open Comms?
I don't know.
Fuck. I know he does
He did.
LoSec.
He was talking about it. I don't remember. He's the leader of Stay Frosty in that group. I mean, he's a kind of a low sec guy. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's
he's a
pretty-
low sec
He's
guy.
super nice. I mean, he does know a lot about CCP and their internal workings. Low sec leader, tournament stuff. I mean, he is knowledgeable. I just don't know if he's got enough.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, do people think that means he's gonna get enough votes?
I don't know. I don't know with LoSec. It seems like there's so many people running.
I don't know. I'm just kind of curious as like to what's the drawing factor, right? Because to me right now, if we assume that the candidates roughly stay the same, right? So if we assume at least 2 Imperium candidates, let's assume 1 test candidate, a Horde candidate, PL and NC combined to get candidates back, and a frat candidate. That's like 6 spots, right? Then you add in the 3rd Imperium candidate, which is very likely. That's at 7, right? Like, it's just
For the null sec or for the high sec. I mean, it's probably
You know what needs
right.
You know what needs to kind of happen is I feel like high sec and low sec need to get together and start making like decisions like for the quality of the game and
Sicko,
not necessarily.
Sicko tried that. Yeah,
They're both-
Silent
they
Company
should both
tried
be
that.
They should both be stepping stones towards.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Didn't Silent Company
Nullsec.
come like actually like quite close like
Yeah.
last year?
Yeah, they're. I
Yeah,
think it was
Icarus.
HBU. Yeah.
I'm surprised Icarus Assail isn't running again. Silent Co's leverage has a lot of I guess power in terms of just raw numbers. Whether they're active or not is a different story, but they have a lot of numbers.
White Orchid is running, and I know him, so I'll probably put him at the top of one of my ballots.
Why?
I know him. I think he'd do a good job. He was a director in Waffles for a couple of years. He joined Volta a few weeks ago.
And it's not a bad.
Okay. Let's backpedal a little bit because you said that both high sec and low sec should be stepping stones for null, right?
Yeah, that's probably how it should be. That's how it used to be. I understand now with Brave and Pandemic Horde, that's no longer the format.
That's not where I was going with this.
Oh, okay, sure.
Doesn't that necessarily mean that like they're never gonna make a voting block because all of all the people that are interested in keeping high sec and low sec like stepping stones are gonna be on that path to nullsec, and then they're gonna have nullsec interests?
Well, the leadership more than likely will not. Also, there are a lot of people who just like to stay in high sec, right? Like the majority of the wealth in the game is generated in high sec, or used to be anyway.
Can I give
think
you
that's still
like
the case.
The majority of the
I'm
war
not
deck
saying right, so I'm
still in
not
high
saying that
sec.
what I said just made any sense. Like that's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that's probably how it should be.
Can I
I
give you
say a
the
lot of
I
things
don't
that don't
need the
make sense
people in
too.
high sec
Hold
and
on,
low sec
wait,
to give a fuck or like each other.
I want
I'm
to
just
give
saying
you
that's
the
how it should be.
hottest take that I've ever given anybody. As far as high sec is concerned, I think that space should be completely run by NPCs, and there should be no player-owned structures, citadels, or otherwise in high sec. And that if you want to make money in EVE other than by doing missions, killing NPCs, and mining, that you need to go to low sec, or null sec to do it.
Or wormhole.
Fuck
No,
wormholes. Delete wormholes.
I mean, I understand your point, right? I understand your point. However, I don't know, dude.
I mean,
It's a
there's
tough
been
sell.
an interesting case made over the last couple of years, and I've heard it talked about a couple different times in a couple different ways about how it would be good for each different type of space to have some representation. Because nullsec is obviously so. I don't want to say overrepresented because I don't know if they necessarily are, but
They probably are, dude.
well, like that's the debatable question, right? Like, nullsec is 50+% of the player base, I would think, right?
Isn't it? I think they put those stats out a few years ago. I think high sec was the biggest group, wasn't it?
I mean,
put that out
consider
during
that
the
likely every
mean,
nullsec player has 2 high sec alts that they use for either
Fair.
marketing or something like
It's
that.
also so difficult. It's so difficult to look at CCP stats sometimes and
I
believe
agree,
them.
but I think officially they said high sec was the most numerous player base.
But every single player who lives in nullsec has usually a character in nullsec.
I
Not all of
agree.
them.
I agree the stats are tainted or but it's still that is the fact.
Right. Correct. Yeah. Like, and then obviously they need to have those alts, right? Like, I need to have an alt at least in Jita, right, to do some stuff. And that person's not always in my alliance or whatever, but it's fixed in Jita. Like that's where it's.
You have out of alliance. Or,
You know,
I'm looking for him now. I'm all over.
I really do wonder how many actual people play EVE and not just individual tunes.
I figured it up last week at 69.
Oh, it's literally just everyone in the TTT Discord, and no one knows.
Basically,
We're all
waiting
Mittani.
for a,
We're all
Fin.
Mittani alts, Goblins alts, and Vince Draken alts. That's the entire EVE player base.
Wow, no Villy alts when he's in the room? So
Yeah,
terrible.
Villy's a Mittani alt.
Villy, are you a
imagine
Mittani
how
alt?
fucking,
I'm sorry, that wasn't nice.
Eat my ass.
I apologize. That wasn't nice. I apologize.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, have you seen Villy drunk or high on a show? No, you haven't. So I don't think he's a Mittani alt. Fuck that.
Joke, Rich. It's called a joke.
We're going
What's
back
wrong
to
with
this
being
drunk or
and high on a
thing.
show, dude? What do you mean?
To each his own.
You can do that. That's bullshit.
I like having an alliance leader who doesn't put on a clown show every Saturday.
All right.
I like to say I like to have a leader that I'm not embarrassed to say that I fly under.
They're scary, but most of the time they're fun.
He says from a clown show though, like that's pretty funny.
Well, yeah, but I'm not an alliance leader, am I?
Those words, yeah.
But see, that's the thing though, is that I'm not an alliance leader, and I'm putting on
you're
a
right,
clown show,
Redline.
but
You're right, Redline. What are you?
Yeah, Redline. What are you?
Redshine's a host.
Oh, he's a talk show host. Okay.
Okay.
I'm a fleet commander.
Are you?
Yeah.
Never lost it.
You used to be a fleet commander. You have been
No,
demoted.
I will always
to
be a fleet commander.
fucking.
I
you're
used to be a fleet commander too. I'm not right now.
All I have to do is log in and ping a fleet, and I'm a fleet commander.
No, not necessarily.
No, I think there's a higher standard than that.
There's not really a higher standard
There
than that.
isn't.
Listen,
That's literally the standard.
if I can FC, so can you.
That's a very good point.
I should be the thing that people goes, you know what? Jeremy is an FC. He's a cool dude. I think I can do it too.
I mean, as much as you say that meaningly, Jeremy, it kind of, how do I put this? It ignores all of the work we've done investing into you. Like,
well, okay, yes.
And God, it was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. Sure, it was, but
Overtime.
they can take me and make me into somebody at least semi-competent. So I'm a big believer that anyone who
still working.
Can you do
Yeah,
that
so
for me,
so
Billy?
when does that start? When does the semi-competence come in? I'm curious.
Redline, you can talk smack when you take out a fleet that wins an objective in the past 3 months.
I can talk smack whenever I want to.
Hold on a second. ZK.
You see, you fail to understand that
all the time.
my shit talking is not quantified. Like, I don't have to follow your standards of shit talking.
Redline.
I can
Hold
do
on a
whatever I
second.
want.
Bite your tongue, because you haven't done anything in Eve in 28 days.
How
So
about
you better do something in the next 2 or 3 days. Otherwise, you're gonna go a whole month without doing fuck all in Eve.
What was his last thing he did? Did he lose a claymore?
Nah, he went and fucking bashed the fucking structure. He was in a let's double check. Oh, he was in a fucking raptor. He did fucking nothing. So
yeah, dude.
okay, he's done absolutely nothing for
Fuck
more
all,
than a
bro.
month.
But hey, you know what the best thing is, though?
Look that up.
Is that, again, I, like, my participation and who I am is not defined by who you think I am. And it
Dude,
never
you're
will
as
be.
bad as Redline. You're as bad as people in open comms who talk about Eve but don't even play the damn game.
Dude, I was logged in yesterday doing stuff. What do you mean?
Redline, do you want to do Forgets at the Sun, and so we can pervert Richmond wrong?
Yeah, you want to actually do something in the game. You want to log in and contribute to the game. Or you're going to be somebody like a bad itch that won't go away. You don't play the game. You don't do anything in the game. You just sit there, talk about a game that you don't play anymore.
He's playing the game in his own way.
Are you deaf? Like, are you deaf or are you just brain dead? Like, I'm asking honestly. Which one is it, Rich? Because right now, I can't honestly tell. Like, I'm saying things, it's just like it's going through your completely empty head from one side to the other, and you're not picking it up.
Please repeat it again.
I was literally playing the game last night. What do you mean?
Doing what?
Shooting a pos, bro.
Also be dead.
People have characters that are not their mains, Rich.
I was on my main. Someone in local chirped at me because I was flying a bomber instead of a Loki, because I decided to leave my Loki in my hangar instead of bringing it out to shoot a pos.
How dare you, dude? Loki's
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Dare you not use your faction capitals to shoot a pulse?
But like, at the end of the day, Rich,
thing.
at the end of the day, Rich, what I don't think you understand is that your opinion is about as relevant to me as your asshole is, which is not at all. I don't care what you or anybody else thinks of what I do or don't do in the game. I will do whatever I want, and I'll be whoever I want, because that's how Eve works. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off. You don't have to critique what I do. And yeah, you're absolutely right. The last time I played before last night was almost a month ago. Because I've actually got some real shit to deal with, like in my real life, which is something I've said 100 times, and to you directly.
I understand.
Richmond,
Apparently, you
you're
don't understand.
your
Hold on a second, one
Ezekiel
at a time.
Rich. Your Ezekiel Rich isn't too spectacular either. Let's take a look here. I don't know if you have any grounds to be talking smack.
You're right. My Ezekiel is
He's
less than
never had
ideal. I
grounds
have.
to talk smack.
Who cares about your Ezekiel, dude? It's not
Somebody's
about your
just brought it
Ezekiel,
up.
man.
I'm not the
It's
one who
about.
brought it up.
I understand, but I'm saying
Let's
I'm
check Reddit,
talking to
bro.
Jeremy just as much as I'm talking to you. Who you are isn't your Ezekiel board. Like what you have on Ezekiel doesn't make a difference of who you are or not. Like I could
No,
play
it doesn't,
Eve. I could
Redline.
play
It's
Eve for
just
100 days and not have a single thing on Ezekiel board, but I could do so much in that 100 days that no one would know about. Why? Because it's not on a kill board? Fuck
no.
that.
I find it. I've read it. Redline. I find it bizarre. God damn! I called you Reddit. Redline. I find it bizarre when people host shows and do all these things for a game they don't even play. Like, it baffles me if they
When
don't
you
even
play-
know
when
what's
you
going
do
on
a
in the
show,
game.
You are playing Eve. That is the magic of Eve, is that you can do so much with the game, around the game, without actually logging in. Your comment is completely irrelevant and minimizes any of the out-of-game work that anyone does.
And I
The
think
lack of understanding.
I think
in
the
post.
best part
Or-
is that I was literally logged into Eve playing last night.
You said you were
We're
shooting
trying
at
to
the boss. Where's the
You're
camera?
shooting up. Yeah,
Well, it didn't die.
Why didn't it die? Why didn't you kill it?
Well, because you can't kill it all in one go. I would have loved to have killed it, but this simple thing you can't. But anyways, if you're gonna
He was
sit
strong
there
too.
and berate
The
me
shield
and try to say that I don't do anything in Eve, then I definitely know that you should hold off on your CSM run this year because you got to
very
check that
well.
attitude before you try to do something.
I'm sorry,
When
Redline,
most
but
of the
if I
people that are going to vote for you are going to be people that you see as beneath you, you shouldn't be representing them.
no Redline, I just find it bizarre. Personally, if I don't play Eve, I wouldn't be on a talk show. Like if I didn't
Well,
log in and
see,
do anything, I wouldn't.
I'm
I
not
would
on
just
I'm
not
not on
do
the
that.
talk show. I host the
There
talk show. There's a big
There are a
difference.
lot of people on talk shows who disagree with you, Rich.
Redline provides a service for all of us by letting us who are not space important otherwise to voice our opinions to awaiting ears that receive our dribble with eagerness.
Glossed over Rich's when you said people disagree with
Do they?
That's terrible. No, if you're right, I think everybody me.
I mean, people can disagree with me.
They can't.
Obviously not. You take it to heart. Put everything on your sleeve.
No, no.
You're like a Eve child.
No, it's but to me, if
it weren't
I
for
were
me,
to
Rich, what would you
not
be
play
doing
Eve,
right now?
I'm playing Crusader Kings right as we talk right now.
Your low character is the subject of Greek plays.
Sorry, I've been banging the same woman for over 200 years at this point. Almost 300.
Is she your sister?
No. Sadly, the Jewish faith does
No.
not allow me to. Actually, no. Sadly, all of my sisters are dead, so I can't actually seduce any of my sisters.
Oh my.
Anyways, back to Eve. Back to good games.
Crusader Kings 3 is a good game.
Yes.
It is. It's a very good game.
Crusader
I
Kings
don't like
is
it as much as
great.
DK2, I don't think.
But if
Oh, is that what you guys were
but
talking
if
about?
not
I
this game.
literally just had a phone call and I came back and Rich is talking about. Okay, never
A
mind.
phone call? How dare you put anything else above this show that has gone on a half an hour longer than it's supposed to?
Yeah, are we supposed to play a game or something? That's not Eve.
Yeah, but I'm tired and you know.
You play games now after this show? Seriously?
I play games during the show.
I mean, I've been playing Satisfactory the whole time.
Yeah, I play a lot of games during this show. Sometimes it's Eve, but usually it's a different game.
Normally, I like sit in a structure and ship spin.
I wish you could spin citadels, dude.
And you go, you view outside and then you spin it.
Yep.
No, you spin around the Citadel. The Citadel doesn't spin. There's a
There's
big
always a
difference, and the fact that
I
you
thought
don't know
the-
it tells me all I need to know about you.
No, I thought you meant like the Citadel spun like a top. You just see the undock just start flying around at like 200 miles an hour.
That is exactly what I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Launched.
Oh.
That is word for word exactly what I want to have happen.
You can spin reputation.
The same thing. You're just moving your camera around.
He does that every weekend.
Spin reputation.
Yeah.
Explain that. What do you mean by that?
You put your spin on things. You know, you do a 2 + 2 = 5. You spin it your way. You spin yourself falling over due to old age as you know, you courageously fighting to stay standing.
Really talking about Eve's
I'm
spin.
really sure it's a very courageous fight for you to breathe, Richmond. Sometimes.
Damn, son.
No.
I kind of fell flat. I'm not even gonna lie.
It did. I kind of forgot where I was going mid joke.
Kind of fell. Yeah.
Well,
You're like
you know,
upstairs.
Unlike earlier when Rain told you to stop breathing, that was a bad.
That was pretty good. Somebody clip that, by the way. I just want to sound if Rain told me to stop breathing.
You should be clipped.
I
That was
wonder. So
definitely
someone says, Rich, you hit different when you're not on TIS. Any idea what that means?
A little different.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. Maybe hits
Rich,
left-handed.
I think TIS has a respectful environment where everyone's opinion
What
matters.
the fuck is that?
Yeah, people say that I sound different on TIS and on.
How did you
Disco.
jog it on TIS and I haven't gotten an invite yet? I should be more space important than both of you, honestly.
I have to explain that to you.
That's the problem.
I don't know if you need to be space important to be on a talk show
Hey,
anymore.
just a real quick question. Does anybody in the chat have a Twitch Prime sub available? I don't want you to use it on this channel. I'm just curious if you have one available.
Yeah.
I just use.
No, not.
Jesus Christ.
Not for this. Not for this. I don't need the Twitch Prime subs. No, stop.
I'm gonna give it to you anyway.
Everyone on sub now.
This is like when you tell people don't jump and
No, it's
half the fleet
not.
goes through.
It's like I want to send you guys to a streamer, an Eve streamer that just got affiliate today. They're doing their first affiliate stream, and I want to just flood them with Twitch Prime subs. That's just like my dream.
Why did I waste my Prime sub on you, Redline? Why did I
don't
just
know.
do
You're
that?
a fucking idiot.
I think I did to spite you, and I just spited myself instead.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you do
I feel like that's typical Jeremy.
play stupid games, win stupid prizes, I guess.
Not my monkey, not my circus.
It's like, Redline, I hate you so much. He was like $5.
It's literally like $2. It's not about the money. It's just about sending a message. That's what I want to do. I want to send a message to the person. Anyways, I'm gonna send you guys over to a person. First affiliate stream. The name is Art Gravy. Stop it.
Hype train.
And I hit different because on TIS I don't have to deal with this fucking crowd.
Oh, so nobody hits you back.
That is
what
correct.
you're saying.
Oh, so you feel loved over there. That's
You still
why.
have to deal with me and Rundle over there.
I was just gonna say
I'd rather deal with you and Rundle than some of these other
You're asking
Harlequin
me to show up.
Hooligans.
Are you saying that you'd rather deal with Rundle and those guys than deal with me?
Yeah, probably. I think that's exactly what he's saying.
That makes sense.
I can change your perception if you'd like, Rich.
I am one of the kindest and most humble people on the internet.
That's confirmed. I mean, I get that.
He just doesn't treat you right afterwards.
Okay, so stop it. Stop subbing to this fucking thing. Okay, so this person is doing wormhole PvP and exploration. giving away 100 million ISK every so often, it seems. And they just started a battle. So we're going to raid. And then when we get into the channel, you guys all have to type !battle so that you just flood the battle screen full of things. And then I guess start fighting. Guess that's the thing that we do.
Again?
Yeah, just type !battle in the chat when you get there, okay? So I want to thank everybody for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed Trash Talk Tuesday. If you haven't, then hopefully you enjoy Art Gravy. And when you get here, just make sure that you type !battle, and we'll see you next Tuesday, for another episode of Trash Talk Tuesday.
And real quick,
of
if
course,
points available, go ahead and donate to the Webcam Tuesday Fund.
And don't forget that if you have CSM friends that are interested in being on debates, that we will be hosting those in May. All right. So I've been Redline. This has been Trash Talk Tuesday. We're all animals, and we're proud to be in your cage. See you next week.
French, come get a banana.
It was fantastic.